Fantastic, we're live.
Welcome, chat.
Hello.
But I don't have my Discord up so that people can see it. All right, people are still looking at me editing the thumbnail, even though that's done. We're professionals here.
No, we're not. You just grabbed a bunch of people from your Patreon to do this.
I'm professionals here. What's up? I think those are Arabic characters. Spinal cord sword. I have a sandwich.
Well then, it looks like your Discord's up, so
Yep.
Shall we get into Oshi no Ko?
I think we should give people a second to get here.
No, I want to talk about it now.
Well, first off,
One
we just
second has passed.
had a new video release. We can talk about that for a second while people start streaming in.
Yeah.
So Scrub,
I mean, it's a good video. I can't really think of any examples where my morals have ended up failing because of an anime I like.
Look at Scrub, the perfect little angel.
Yeah, I am. I mean, it's not like, I don't, is this a moral failing?
I mean, when it comes to moral failings, I think a general one that will be very hard to avoid is just the sexualization of minors. That's very ubiquitous in
Sure, but
anime media.
there's a difference between just ignoring it and then actively watching a show like Gushing Over Magical Girls.
That's the whole point of the show.
Right.
Yeah.
I don't know, I had a soft spot for Monster Musume a while ago.
That's a common one I hear about.
Yeah, I'm asexual. Of course I'm a monster fucker.
No, I just posted that progress report on Patreon. And like I said, I was really anxious about working on this video the whole time I was working on it. And I'm just really happy it's getting the reception that it's getting.
I haven't read the report, so to be honest, I don't know.
It was posted less than 10 minutes ago.
Yeah,
no worries. Arca, never use the word snakehussy in my chat again.
Don't worry, Arca. I support you.
Alright, we got 21 concurrent viewers.
Do you allow the use of the word cloaca in your chat?
Mm-hmm.
There you go, Arca. I got you, buddy.
You can also use closnaka if you still want the pun. Oshi no Ko is a story that is extremely personal to me because it came out on the worst possible day for me. I don't know what that means.
Probably episode 6.
Very reasonable. I don't have many specific good things to say about this show. So if it's important to you that you do not hear it bashed, probably don't be here.
I don't think I have a whole lot of bashing to give this show.
It's in a weird place, right? Like, it's clearly a very good show, it just doesn't quite reach its own mark. Came out the day your dad was killed. Wow. First off, I'm very sorry your dad was killed. That's extremely horrible.
Yeah.
And I don't have a second off. That's just really bad. I'm sorry. Happy that you have good memories with it. I don't. I don't really have many memories with it at all. I started watching it like 4 days ago and finished yesterday.
I mean, even if you did, it's a show from last year. It's not exactly a...
Yeah, fair enough.
Nostalgic show.
Mm-hmm. The first 2 episodes were the best part. The first episode was the best part. Alright, I think we can formally get started.
Yeah?
Hello everyone in chat. Welcome to the Explanation Point Anime Club. This is something that we do every single month with different animes that are around 12 episodes and entirely self-contained. Now you may be asking yourself, Explanation Point. Oshi no Ko is not entirely self-contained. It is roughly around 12 episodes, but this is only the first season. There's going to be more story. How is this eligible for Anime Club? And the answer is, it isn't. None of us had seen it before. We didn't know that. So it slipped through the cracks. But we're going to be talking about this first season on its own merits, not as part of a larger story, in as much as we can do that. None of us know what happens after the first season. We can't talk about the manga, and I don't think any of us are going to read it.
I know one thing about the manga. It got shared around so much, obviously.
I'm not familiar with this. Is there something famous about the manga I should know?
Oh yeah, one of the most recent chapters just kind of said, hey, maybe Ruby and Aqua should kiss. And everyone else in the community said no.
This is something that I have been thinking about since the reincarnation angle was introduced, because I'm like, surely they won't. Surely.
I think it was foreshadowed in episode 1. I guess we can get to that if people are interested in hearing it.
Well, sure. Like, you have the doctor, the nurse calling the doctor a lolicon at the very beginning, and him having that
and then he couldn't deny it.
Very weirdly romantic overtones in his obsession with this cancer girl. They have to. They're both actors in a movie that calls for their characters to kiss.
Yeah, but the manga didn't have to put sparkles around the scene. Like, they didn't have to frame it like it was a big deal.
I have not seen it. I don't know what's going on. This is the first I'm hearing about that. There are two levels. From a Watsonian and a Doyleist perspective, that entire situation was constructed for them to kiss. The author did not have to do that. The director in the story did not have to do that. But again, I haven't seen it. Maybe it's just the best, most romantic kiss you ever did see, and it puts Jaime and Cersei Lannister to shame.
Yeah, we're not here to talk about that anyway.
Yeah, that's in the manga. We're talking about the entirely self-contained 11 episodes that we all watched. Okay.
Yep.
So
self-contained.
We got sidetracked. This is something that we do every single month with a roughly 12-episode series. If you would like to join this Discord call, you can go to patreon.com/explanationpoint to find out how. And if you would like to join us in our YouTube chat, you're already doing that. Congratulations. So, Oshi
For everyone who's here, congratulations.
You know how to click a button.
You know how to click a button, and you're so cool for that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, welcome to Anime Club. I really do appreciate you all being here, and hopefully we're all going to have a good time. So, Oshi no Ko is a show that was released last year. To great fanfare. I visited my alma mater a while ago, and I was telling one of my former professors about my job. And she said, hey, there's this professor in the Japanese department who would really love to talk to you. Would you like to talk to her? And I go to talk to this professor, whom I had never met before, but I'd seen her around campus. And she's talking to me about anime, and we're kind of struggling through the conversation because her English isn't very good, and I don't speak Japanese at all. But eventually, she just says the words, Oshi no Ko. Popular, yes? So that's where this series got. It got up to academia, to where, 80-year-old professors who know, very little about American culture, or specifically about youth culture, people who are into anime, yeah, Oshi no Ko. That's something from my country that people like here, right?
I mean, based on the time when it came out and my time on social media, yes, it is very popular.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I think I get it, because it's flashy, it has a unique premise, sort of. Very high production value. The music is boppin'. I love this soundtrack.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I was not expecting the kind of music they would put for the intro, but I adore
Love it. Excellent OP. And the direction of the OP is very good. I guess we'll get to that in a second, but it's very calm in a way that I wasn't expecting.
It's calm, yet the actual
tense,
song is blood pumping.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, anime ends right before the anime play happens. There's probably a different explanation your professor heard about it. Not my professor. I had never met this woman before. Sorry, just getting caught up with chat. Should you be wary of spoilers? We're going to talk about everything in the anime, and we're not going to give any spoiler warnings. If there's something in the manga that happens, we don't know about it unless it's famous. There's a lot of controversy over when that character tried to kill herself. Yeah, that's probably the thing we're going to be talking about the most because it was the most interesting part of the show. Does anyone disagree?
No, it was literally the best episode, and
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I'm not sure. I mean, maybe I didn't really think about what my favorite part of the series is.
Mm-hmm. Like, there are parts of the series that I think had much more potential, but that was the part that really sold itself very well. How it was very much like something that happened in Japan a few years prior. I don't know anything about that. I'm just going to be looking at the scene as a scene in an anime. Controversy was mainly because of the person whose story they emulated. Knowing absolutely nothing about that, so I understand that I cannot give an informed opinion. This might be the absolute most dogshit thing that any writer has ever done, not commenting on it. It sounds like being topical with things that happened in the industry is something that this show should be doing.
Yeah, definitely.
Mm-hmm.
I think I'm just more worried that the actual story probably ended with the character actually dying, or not character, the person actually
the
dying.
real life person.
Yeah, and
well, again, that's not something I was too worried about, and I am falling into a trap here of seeing this human person as a celebrity first and a person with actual emotion second, because I could feel in the back of my brain saying, "Well, yeah, that's what happened with this public figure, not that's what happened with this human being." So I guess I do understand the idea of like commodifying, fictionalizing, dramatizing it being an issue. And I'm sure we have more concurrent viewers than normal, and I'm sure a lot of you are coming right off the heels of the new video I just released, where I mentioned suicides being a particularly rough topic for me specifically. So I don't know. I just feel like this is something that it's very hard for me to have grace toward when it's done poorly, and I loved it. So Nathan thinks it's a story that should be told, but that should not diminish what the actor went through. Again, I have no information about the real story. It sounds like I agree. It also sounds like shows should do things on their own terms, if that makes sense. Muse prefers the ED over the OP. I do too. But it's a lot campier, I think.
I don't think I actually ever watched the ED. I'm a fake fan.
Fake fan, yeah. Couldn't even spare 1.5 minutes. At least once.
My time's too valuable. How else will I spend all of my hours on Dungeon Meshi Tumblr?
The deceased mom was upset because it dredged up bad memories for her. That makes sense. Of course she was. Oh, it was Yoasobi, wasn't it? I never look at who's actually doing the music. It's just every now and then I hear Yoasobi did one of these intros. I'm like, oh yeah. Yeah, I know that style.
Yep.
Okay. EDs are usually less interesting to you. Well, they're meant to be. Alright, is there anything I didn't mention about Anime Club and what we're doing here that I should have? We're talking about Oshi no Ko. We're gonna do spoilers. Go to patreon.com/explanationpoint to get involved. We do this every month. Anything else?
We're restricted to just the content in the anime. You said that as
I
well.
did.
So yeah, that's
Cool.
everything.
Alright, gonna take one more bite of my sandwich and then we will do preliminary thoughts on the series. Nom nom. Sip of coffee. Alright, let's do this. Play the OP.
You're the one in charge of everything, so you
God.
have to.
No. I forgot the OP. My guitar's all the way over there. It's like 2 feet behind me.
Yeah, I'm not
not
a guitar. I'm not a guitar person.
I'm so sorry.
I'm an accordion person.
My career's in the toilet. Dun, 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 dun. Okay. Yeah, I play guitar. It's like 2 feet behind me. I played guitar in my second most recent video. I have a Fender acoustic. All right. Preliminary thoughts about Oshi no Ko. I've already given some. Tenek, I don't think you've talked very much.
Yeah, I haven't said it. I really like the show. It's kept me constantly invested. I think every arc has an interesting story that, again, I felt invested in. And introduces enough new characters, focus on the side stuff. I expected this show to be a lot darker from what people said about it, but I think now that might have been just me amplifying people saying that it is dark and more realistic than the typical idol show. Yeah.
It is darker and more realistic than a typical idol show, but that is not a high bar.
Yeah, that's true as well.
I say more realistic. I don't know what it's like to be an idol. It's darker. It's grittier. I assume being an idol is very bad.
Yeah. I mean, it definitely seems to have reference to, just all the, I guess, general well-known facts about how hard it is to be an idol, to be a part of show business. Like, how much of yourself you have to give for what comes out to not be that much.
Yep. No, like, I am not a famous person. I have a very modest following online. Thankfully, it's enough for me to make a living off of, more or less. And I found myself relating to a whole lot of stuff in this show. Even though the more questionable and negative parts of fame are something that I have very, very rarely had to deal with. It still gets to you. Just having all of these people looking at you all the time, knowing that anything you post online is going to be scrutinized by people who hate you. No, it takes guts to even try to do this. Not to brag, I'm saying that as a bad thing.
Yeah.
But no, I definitely felt a lot of what this show was trying to say about being a public figure, for as private of a public figure as I am. Scrub, what did you think?
This show was interesting for me. It was almost like a flip-flop of interest, where it felt like every other arc, I was having an amazing time and loving what the anime was doing. And then the next arc was just really boring.
Yep. No.
Really didn't care. There's quite a few characters I'll talk about later. The biggest hot take I can give is that I think Ruby should not exist in this show.
Hell yes.
Ruby is a nothing sandwich.
For now. Maybe they give her stuff to do later.
Maybe, but I think
she joins
at this
the harem
point
later, apparently.
If you didn't give her any stuff to do before, like for pretty much 3/4 of the anime, she does nothing. Then why do you have her?
Give her role to someone else.
Or just use her.
Maybe she just has connections with the mangaka.
Maybe. I mean, their mom is famous, so that's possible.
Yeah, I wasn't impressed with either of the main characters.
Aqua's fun when he gets his shit kicked in.
Sometimes, yeah. Like, Aqua at least had his moments. Ruby was just nothing the entire time. Mister, if it were just me, I would say you could tell me whatever you want, but there are plenty of people in this chat who care about Oshi no Ko, so please no manga spoilers.
Yeah. If I would say anything about Aqua and Ruby, I understand what you're saying about Ruby, because obviously this is just an adaptation of a manga story, and her idol stuff is going to come into more prominence later, I assume. For Aqua, I mean, I suppose he's mostly just a point of view character who's trying to solve this mystery and doing show business stuff
Mm-hmm.
as a means for that. Uh, I suppose I could understand someone calling him not very interesting. What I did like is that although he has this kind of side of him that's kind of like this mastermind manipulator, like Light or Ayano Koji or some character like that, it also feels like he is a very like genuinely compassionate and kind person in a way that
Mm-hmm.
I don't know always keeps him likable on some basic level.
He does the light Yagami thing, but on a very personal level.
Oh, I just realized what it is.
Mm.
It's that this show loves to show you the darker side of the entertainment industry and then only tell you about the darker side of the idol industry.
Okay.
Like it
Yeah,
shows
maybe,
it with I, but never Ruby. Ruby's
Mm-hmm.
doing fine. Don't worry about her. The idol industry's better now that her mom is dead.
Mm-hmm.
But we'll
I
tell
mean,
you it's
again,
still going bad.
I'd still just chalk that up to I guess, the presence of the actual arts we have not being that focused on the idol industry,
Mm-hmm.
which is
That
maybe
is
a bit
true.
ironic because that's the main thing it's supposed to be about, at
Mm-hmm.
least on the surface.
No, the thing that sticks out at me most, I know this can't be the part of the idol industry that Ruby was most disenfranchised with. But when I think about how this show chose to portray the dark side of the idol industry, what pops into my head is um what is the group's name? B something.
Be Komachi.
B Kamachi is the new B Kamachi going to that big stage in the last few episodes and being corralled into a communal dressing room with hundreds of other groups. And then being told, yeah, you don't get private dressing rooms if you're an underground group. And that's the worst thing that happens. Whereas Aqua's over here, like, watching people's lives get destroyed because they're not cute children anymore and committing suicide because of hate online. Where Ruby doesn't get her own dressing room.
I mean, kind of almost uh, falls down due to exhaustion at some point.
Oh boy.
That might say something.
She exercised too much.
Yeah, the hardship.
Like, not to knock it. Like, if they really went into that and, like, the exercise thing weren't just a one-off thing where this guy in a weird duck mask made them do, like, an hour's worth of intense workout to promote their stuff. If they actually said, hey, you have to crash diet and you have to work out for 3 hours every day to keep your figure. You have to be able to fit into this ridiculously tiny idol uniform. So stop eating whatever it is you're eating and have this kale. Like, that would be something. Go into that.
I like that was a good pun, Mr. Word. I respect you for that one. Ruby is the Ruby plot for a while.
Yo! This is why we do Anime Club.
For
Because
fun.
we
In the
just
show's
crib off
defense, it
of
starts off with
off of chat.
No,
We just crib off of chat's good ideas.
I read what real funny people have to say about anime, and then I steal it. Just call me ExPoint GPT. Alright. People dying from overwork in Japan is the subject of an anime all on its own. Yes, but not idols. For idols, dying of overwork is dying of exhaustion from practice or killing yourself because people criticize you online. It's different from your boss just telling you to work 14-hour days. Okay.
Yeah.
Having things go to
Do we
shit
have
right off the bat isn't great for a long period of time, but you do have to have things go to shit. Like, this isn't right off the bat. We're talking about 10 episodes in a movie.
Yes.
All right. Do we have any more preliminary thoughts to talk about this series?
OP good,
OP
EP,
good,
ED good.
ED good.
I'm not sure if there's much more to say about it.
OP good, ED
Oh,
good. Oh,
I would say just about the OP. This is like one of the few times where I've actually had the opportunity to read like the lyrics and do it on more than one occasion. I have to say I really like the way it feels like it's kind of summarizing Ai's character, maybe
mm-hmm.
even the entirety of episode one in a
Yeah.
song.
I actually did not get the chance to look at the lyrics because the very legitimate website I was watching this show on, the subtitle function wasn't working very well during the OP.
That sucks.
Yeah,
I
so
mean, you can check it out.
I will, but give us a taste. What was going on?
Right. So it's basically talking about the way idol culture can prop up and glorify idols precisely because idols can and do exist under this facade that kind of hides what
Mm-hmm.
the idols' personal lives are really like. And it's the fact that there is that veil that makes it very interesting in the first place.
Mm-hmm.
And then also talks about the way, just the irony that exists between I literally being called love and her acting as a very loving person, even though she's literally never felt love in her life.
Mm-hmm. No, it's the kind of very on the nose irony that I appreciate quite a lot. Um, yeah, thematically, this show has very strong bones. I think that going into the whole issue of lying being such a beautiful thing to do from an idol's perspective is something that only this kind of show could do. It has to be about the entertainment industry. So I think focusing a lot on that was very good. And then they stopped after episode one. And they decided that because I loved lies so much, Ruby has to hate them and be completely genuine all the time.
I
Just
suppose.
because. Which doesn't make
I
any
would
sense
say
to me as a character trait.
I think it does because of Ruby's backstory. At least, I mean, that's at least what motivates her even becoming an idol in the first place. Uh, I guess I don't remember right now how that ties into the wish for genuineness.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, like, I feel like this show just had this one very interesting character who had an excellent story. Uh, and they threw her away doing the Game of Thrones thing. The Game of Thrones thing that Attack on Titan was too scared to do. Um, and then they decided that they wanted their new female lead to contrast the old one. So they just gave her this character trait that is in direct opposition to her mother. Because.
Yeah, I absolutely hate that Ruby just starts saying, like, oh no, you shouldn't lie. Lying's bad. And it's just like, do you remember what your whole mom's deal was? I feel like you, of all people, should know that.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Ruby
Well,
infuriates me, and I wish I did not die.
Yep. No, I feel like this show would have
you're right.
been much better if it were just about I guess it would be a totally different show, so I can't say that, but I would rather have watched the show that's just about
I wish I did not die and got to be just like a mom who could not love her children out in public, and I wish the reincarnation plotline did not exist because it serves no purpose.
I don't agree
Same
with
here.
that, like at all.
Like, it's
But
not that it
I guess
serves
we
no
can get
purpose.
that
It
later.
serves a purpose in the show that we get. It's just in the best version of this show, I feel like it wouldn't need that.
I still don't think I agree with that.
I
But
think
again, I
that's
think
reasonable.
we might come to that
Sure.
at some point.
Exile says that Ruby idolized her mom, and when you idolize someone, you tend not to notice their flaws. But in that case, she would want to lie to people the same way I did.
Yeah, lying to people wasn't a flaw for I. It was
Yeah.
like her whole deal. It was her belief.
And, like, if these were just regular old non-reincarnated children, I would understand that. But they are reincarnated children, and the person who was reincarnated into Ruby understood that I was an idol, and that her entire job was putting on a happy face and making people who are miserable feel good about themselves.
Yeah, Ruby hating lies and would just be better if she wasn't reincarnated, and you could still have Aqua's murder mystery plotline just from deducing that one guy would not have access to the information of where I lived.
Mm-hmm.
You don't need the doctor scene for him to be like, oh, he knew about the children. It's like, no, the guy could have still just been told by the dad.
It's true. Like, I don't know where the whole reincarnation angle is going later in the story. Maybe it wraps up really nicely. But for now, with what we have right now, it's in the way. And also, I don't like either of the pre-reincarnation people. I don't like watching them.
I thought you said you did when you were commenting about it in the chat.
It's hard to say. Like, they... No, I think I've just decided that I don't. Like...
Inexplicably.
Yeah, no, maybe while I was watching it, I was less uncomfortable, but just thinking back on it, neither of them makes me feel good.
Okay,
I can check what I said.
Yeah, you said that it's one of the only good instances of like a child telling an adult that they're gonna marry them, and the adult
That was a
affirms.
very good moment. Let's go ahead and talk about episode 1 formally.
Yeah, let's actually start the discussion.
Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, there's no reason we have to do this episodically. We can just have a nice conversation.
Oh yeah, that's true.
But normally we do things episodically. Hello, if you're new here, we go through things episode by episode, talk about what we like and what we don't like. But episode 1. Before I even describe the plot of episode 1, how do we feel about the decision to start this show with an OVA? Hour and a half long. This is a film.
I was very surprised by this film. Not in that I thought it was really good, but the fact that I didn't think it needed to be a film.
I
In the
thought it was
sense that
appropriate.
Like, I really felt like it was just 3 episodes that
Mhm.
were brought together, and it's mostly the ending did not make me think it felt like a film.
yeah,
I don't know. It basically feels like somebody heard about the 3-episode rule for anime and
Like,
just decided
well,
to
have I got the best idea?
yeah.
I'm thinking it was a stylistic choice. That's just my gut. But there is a possibility that it had something to do with the time slot that the network could get. Like, maybe there was a situation where the network said, we can give you a 12-episode time slot like a normal show. And the studio says, we actually need like 14 episodes to do this. Is there a way you
13.
could give us a longer time slot at the beginning? I could see that happening. I don't think that's what happened. That might be something you could just look up if you're curious. I don't care very much. And then Freerun did the same thing. Freerun's opening episode was only like 40 minutes, right? Or was it even...
Yeah, it was about 40 minutes.
Yeah.
No, I think the first 3 or 4 episodes of Free Run came out at once, but they were separate episodes, at least on the Crunchyroll.
Yeah, I almost think it was only 20 minutes. Nathan brings up a good point that a lot of people would probably drop this show before they find out what it really is. I think that putting all of this stuff into one episode is a good way to make sure that people get to the quote-unquote real show without having to rush everything to put the entire prologue in a 20-minute episode.
Maybe. I feel like the show is high profile enough that wasn't going to be a big issue anyway.
You feel like the show's what?
Like high profile enough.
Hmm.
Like, I mean, it's based on a manga from a big name mangaka. It has pretty high production value, it
Yeah, this
seems
is
to me.
Kaguya-sama's writer.
Yes, that's correct.
Hmm.
Um, yeah. I don't know. To me, it felt the first episode just felt like a good way to get all of the prologue done
Hmm.
in a way that doesn't include any breaks the way 3 episodes would. That's why I didn't mind it. But of course, I don't know why they actually made it that way.
Yeah. No, I think it was a good decision. And if nothing else, do you two think that the first episode can stand alone?
Yes.
I mean,
Well, actually, no.
No?
it has a cliffhanger, but that aside, I
Mm.
think it does.
The ending makes it not a standalone
Awkward.
series.
Yeah. I feel like the story is so very close to complete that it's almost something you can enjoy just by itself. Anyway,
Yeah, I can imagine that.
Dr. Goro Amamiya is an avid fan of the idol Ai Hoshino. Spurred on partly due to her being his favorite idol of a deceased patient of his named Sarina Tendoji, Goru is shocked when Ai quietly arrives at his rural hospital 20 weeks pregnant with twins. On her due date, Goru is pushed off a cliff by Ai's stalker Ryosuke. He then wakes up and discovers that he's been reborn as Ai's son Aquamarine and lives together with his twin sister Ruby, who herself is the reincarnation of Sarina. As time passes, the twins steadily learn more and more about the entertainment industry. 1 year later, Ai becomes acquainted with both a film director and child actress named Kana Arima. 2 years later, the film ends up being a modest success. However, on the day of her first major Tokyo Dome performance, Ryosuke ends up fatally stabbing Ai, who realizes her love for her twins before dying. The twins are later formally adopted by the Saitos. Ruby decides she wants to follow in Ai's footsteps and become an idol, while Aqua deduces that her biological father leaked Ai's address to Ryosuke, who committed suicide. Many years later, Aqua sets his revenge plan in motion.
That's true. That's the show.
Mm. And that's the whole show.
End of Anime Club.
End of Anime Club. All right,
We did it.
Let's put forth our nominations for next time. All right, this doctor character, I feel, is mostly very good at not feeling creepy while it's happening on screen.
That's a very good way to put it.
Mm-hmm. Scrub?
Is that just
Yeah.
the only reason you didn't like him?
It's not that I dislike him as a character. I dislike watching him. But anyway, Scrub.
He could not deny the allegations of being a lolicon, so
Correct.
I mean, he admitted to outright. I think.
Listen, I'm not normally one to devil's advocate here. But hear me out. The Japanese word lolicon is a more complicated word than the English word pedophile. Lolicon does not necessarily
no, I'm not calling him a pedophile.
Mm-hmm. Not creepy is a high bar, Church, believe it or not.
I get what it was going for, though. That's
sure.
the thing.
Like, I understand the basic narrative of this small town doctor who has a patient who's a young girl who has cancer, and that sticks with him. I absolutely understand the idea that this guy is changed for life as a result of his interactions with Sarina. And I very much appreciate that that change is sort of exemplified by his interest in Ai as an idol. I am just not all that into watching him.
That's it. It's just a purely preference thing.
Kind of. Like, there was a time in the Discord chat when I was watching episode 1, and I talked about this exchange between Sarina and Goro, where Sarina says, I forget what the actual exchange is, but she's like, something, something, marry me someday. And he's like, something, something when you get older. And that's an exchange that you see every now and then in anime. You see it in Mushoku Tensei, and it's creepy as fuck. You see it in, I'm very bad at thinking of examples on the spot, but you see it in a few different things, and usually it's either very creepy because the guy is serious, or it's absolutely nothing because it's just a silly thing you say to a kid. And in this instance, it hits. It hits in a way I've never seen it hit before. Because I don't know if she's serious or not. That doesn't really matter. But he says, when you get older, as if she's going to get older. And she knows that she's not going to get older. And it's a great way to take this very tropey situation and make it actually work. And I love it when shows do that. Like when we were talking about Kokoro Connect, when the guy, when we learn about why the guy has this crush on one of the other characters.
Yeah, that.
It hits. It turns a joke into a serious moment. And I feel like that worked very well, and that gave me very high hopes about the writing for the rest of the series that fluctuated. Church says she does get older. I mean, technically. That does put a spin on the whole thing, huh? The problem.
You mean like older in the sense of being reincarnated?
Yes, I think that's what they're talking about. The problem with that dynamic is actually more that Sarina becomes Ruby and she still wants to marry him. I didn't get to any of that in the show.
See, that was. Well, I think it's fine that she says that she wants to marry the Doctor, because she doesn't know Aqua's the Doctor. They don't know that each other is like the reincarnation. Like, they know that they're both reincarnated, they just don't know who.
Mm-hmm.
So, I think it's fine if they realized who they are and then decided, no, of course we're not going to marry each other.
Because then there's the real incest problem.
Yeah.
All right. We've talked about this episode quite a bit, but we need to talk about I.
I love I.
You love I?
I think I is an amazing character. I think she's great. There are some problems, don't get me wrong.
She's a little bit tropey.
She's a little bit tropey. And I do think there are some things, namely her death scene, that I could go into more when we get there.
We're there. It's episode 1.
But overall, I love I. I is a great character. Okay, so here's the thing. When I was going into this, I obviously knew the story was like, it was an idol who showed up like pregnant, and obviously that's a big no-no in the industry.
Mm-hmm.
What I didn't know is I thought they were like faking her age or something. No, she's actually 16, which is, you know, a little bit fucked up.
Yeah, for sure.
But
especially with the implication that she's pregnant on purpose.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I think they handled it well, though.
I want to know more about that.
I think that's super interesting.
I mean, that's obviously a part of the mystery, so
yes, I know. Like, I guess the mystery's doing its job then. I do want to know more about the mysterious things that are happening.
True.
But
I think
this is part of why I am not a fan of mystery shows. Because so often, the mystery... Do you care about the things that are being left mysterious? Because if you don't, then there is no reason to read the mystery story. And if you do, then you are reading a story about things that you don't care about in hopes that you will someday get the things you care about. It's very hard to do a mystery story well. Because so many of them focus on the mystery without focusing on the things surrounding the mystery, you know? And I guess that's one thing that this show tries to do, because I feel like the mystery is hardly focused on at all. But yeah, it's just very hard to do a mystery story well because the audience's focus is always on the things that you are not saying.
Yeah, I think that helps this show because there's obviously a lot of focus on just the specific showbiz gigs they get into, and that's something that helps them get closer to the mystery. And by them, I mean Aqua, without directly being about it.
Yep. No, like, people are saying that this just shows how strong of a character Ai is because we're saying that the show is worse without her. I mean, that just shows that they picked the right person to kill, I guess. Like, knowing
I guess.
knowing that she dies at the end of episode 1 does feel bad because it makes it feel like a waste of emotional investment in a way. I feel like... What do you guys think would have happened if all of the story about Ai was displayed in little pieces over the course of the series instead of all at once?
I honestly think it would have been the perfect end to talking about the horrors of the idol industry if she just died at the end.
Yeah.
Like, if it was just... if I was the whole series...
Mm-hmm.
I think that would be a grim reminder to the audience that, like, yeah, people have been killed for this shit. Remember.
Mm-hmm.
Wait, but now are you talking about basically making a completely different story where instead of it being about Aqua and Ruby and their teens doing this stuff, it's just all about Ai?
No.
And her
I'm talking about
mom.
Have the same story, just rearrange it so instead of having all of the Ai stuff right at the beginning, we have it in little bits throughout the story. We don't learn it all at once. We learn it piece by piece.
I think that would be a better mystery, because the mystery wouldn't be Aqua forgetting to look for his dad. It would be, why is Aqua like this?
I guess. But then you also... Wait, but then are you having in mind that we would just see Aqua and Ruby as twins with unknown parents? Or we think their manager is their parent? That is their
we would think that the manager is their
parent
at least at first. But I feel like episode 1 we get a flashback that says, hey, we used to have a different parent, at least, and then we don't know what happened to that parent. They are for some reason living with that woman's manager.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
He just went off the deep end after Ai's death.
Mm-hmm. Like, I don't know how I feel about that idea because it would require a whole lot of restructuring. And
it might be interesting.
Yeah, I generally think that that's a better way to do things, but I don't know. This show requires so much background information to even understand what's going on. Like, how do you explain that the main characters are a reincarnated doctor and his former patient without just an explicit flashback at the beginning? How do you drop that in the middle of a show?
Maybe you shouldn't drop it. Maybe it shouldn't exist.
But without changing the show, just rearranging it.
Yeah, that would be very... Like, I feel like maybe you could put it as a revelation or as through flashbacks, but then it feels like they wouldn't mean anything.
Yeah.
Because we would know these characters as Ruby and Aqua, not as Doctor and
Doro and Sarina. All right. Do we have anything else about episode 1? The show is impossible to recommend because of how out there the premise is without spoiling. I mean, I guess.
I mean, I don't know. I felt like the premise isn't that bizarre. Maybe the weirdest part is just that their Aqua and Ruby aren't technically the same age because of
that.
I'm
sure that'll be explained.
Anyway,
if you think this premise isn't bizarre, I think you've been watching far too many anime.
Me?
Yes.
Yeah,
and to everyone in chat.
Yeah, anyone in chat, just blanket statement. If you think that Oshi no Ko isn't weird, then you are past the deep end. You're with me now.
You have seen the anime where a man marries a moomin.
Yep.
Anyway, one thing that I just want to mention about the first episode that I assume is supposed to be foreshadowing for future stuff is that at one point Aqua and Ruby pretend to be possessed by gods
Yeah.
when the man catches them speaking,
Mm-hmm.
which is never brought up again,
Sure.
of course.
Well-
But funnily enough, okay, let me just finish. Funnily
Yeah.
enough, they identified themselves with Amaterasu and Tsukuyomi,
Mm-hmm.
who aren't just siblings in their mythology. They're also a married couple, at
Oh,
least at first. So
I didn't know that.
I like just
We'll ignore
considering
that.
the fact that yeah, I mean this is the author of Kaguya-sama. I assume this mythological motif will actually be
Mm-hmm.
important because of that.
Yeah. The kids do identify as gods, pretend to be gods in the first episode, and that's never mentioned again.
Yeah, I love how fuck, what's her name? What's that woman's name who takes care of them after?
Miyako?
Yeah, Miyako is so funny to me because in episode 1 she is just blatantly not a character.
Mm-hmm.
She
She's kind
is
of a
just
bitch, to be
like,
honest.
man, I'm overworked. I can't believe this. I only married the director because I thought he'd be rich.
Mhm.
Now I'm gonna sell this woman's secret and be super evil. What, you two are gods? Okay, I'll believe you. I
who
mean,
wouldn't,
what else
right?
am I supposed to say to talking babies?
Fair, yeah. No,
Love this
if I
crunchy
get some
audio. Sorry, my audio setup shit. What can I do?
if I get some babies standing on their own 2 feet, declaring that they are the gods of creation, and that I am going to get a hot husband if I listen to them, and die if I don't, I'm going to just play it safe.
It's so funny though.
I'm
It's
gonna
just
go
like-
directly to the hospital.
And then she just completely forgets about this shit, and then it's just like, oh, you two are normal children. You want me to adopt you? I'm a real person now.
She did stepped up as a mom, though. Pascal's Wager Shinto edition. Shut up. Shut up.
Yeah.
That is a joke for like 2 people, and it is you two.
People know what Pascal's Wager is. Right?
Yeah, I mean,
I'm sorry I have to tell you this.
Look, other
No.
people have religious trauma,
Only
don't
one-
they?
But no, seriously, like, her character is just so goofy at first, and then she becomes a real person, and I actually really like her.
Mm-hmm. I feel like she's more of a tool to move the plot forward than a character in her own right. Like, we don't see her go through any arcs.
Yeah,
she's
just a
there.
mom,
She
basically.
has a fine personality. But
I just like that she's nice in
Yeah.
the following episodes. She's just an overworked mom in the following episodes.
Mhm.
Yeah. Even agrees to start an idol thing for Ruby,
Mhm.
just so she's not taken up by any deviant groups.
She really does just
Uh,
exist for the plot to happen. Yeah, that's my take on it. Tenek?
I have just one more nitpick to mention about episode 1, which is that I think they talk way too much, Aqua and Ruby. Like, their attempts to be discreet and unnoticed are really half-assed,
Mm-hmm.
and I would expect at least Aqua would try to be more serious about it,
Yeah.
considering he, well, I mean, he knows that other people expect him to be a baby, not a
Mhm.
man in a baby's body.
Look, we've all seen Toy Story. We know how you commit to this. Do your part,
Just
children.
suspend disbelief, bro.
Mm-hmm. Okay. The stalker, Ryosuke.
I mean, if
He's a
we
talker.
want to talk about plot devices,
Yup.
he's a plot device.
Exactly what I was gonna say.
Oh, right.
Bare
Uh,
bones, threadbare characterization, where like, we're all familiar with people like him exist, though. Sure, Mr. Word, you're right. But, like, the only reason we know what's going on with Ryosuke is because we are aware of this archetype. We know the crazy devoted fan archetype. We never learn anything about Ryosuke. It's never even shown that he has any kind of relationship with this idol group. We just understand that there is a kind of character who is a crazy devoted fan, and that crazy devoted fan is going to kill Ai because he's jealous that she's having children with someone else. But no, he's this kind of character that I see more as a philosophical counterpoint than a person. He is only a foil. He is a sheet of aluminum foil that has not been formed into the shape of a man. Like, he only exists to show the consequences of Ai's deception. The point is that he is a plot device. Yes, that's right, Arca. That's my criticism.
I think we're all in agreement on that. But I will say I was very surprised by, I guess, like, in Ai's dying moments, like how she tells him, she remembers him specifically. And
Hey, we want to talk about that one problem I have with Ai?
Mm-hmm. I'd love to. But
Yeah,
let's let Tenet finish first.
I mean, Tenek's telling the problem.
Right.
Right. So just that moment when she's dying and she's like, "Aya, I remember you. You were at those greetings. You gave me a thing once, and I put it on my wall." And I was like, "Wow, that is a very like nice and attentive of an idol to do to just a fan she has for someone who has never ever felt love in her life."
Yep.
Yeah, I guess that might be another nitpick I have.
Oh, that's not a nitpick. That is a big problem.
Yeah. I just end up forgiving her killer is so insane to me. Like, I am a teenage mom. I have just come to the realization how much I love my kids and how much I feel like I haven't shown it to them. I'm calling this fucking bitch out. I am saying, I don't give a shit about you. You motherfucker, you stabbed me! What am I I'm supposed to say I love you?
I get what they're going for.
I mean,
John Mulaney skit. Alright. I get what they're going for. I respect what they're going for. It's far too melodramatic for me.
I thought you wanted more melodrama.
I do later. Later, the show needs more melodrama. In this bit, it needs... Just tone it down. Take some of the melodrama from this bit and put it over there.
Yeah, that's how this works.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, I mean, I don't have a problem with a character having a lot of forgiveness. Maybe I think I just have a problem with her being that forgiving and that loving when it's supposed to be an established character trait that she doesn't love anyone.
Well, there's
my God.
I think I expect her to be more uncaring, kind of like indifferent to the fact that she's dying now. And also, I mean, obviously kind of sad that
she died that way so she doesn't become a cursed spirit.
Mm-hmm. Just you guys and fans.
Get out of here.
Guys, I just had a brain blast.
Anymore.
I just had a big brain blast.
Yeah,
there is a problem.
Mm-hmm.
Ai's death scene is the exact same level of dramatic tension and melodrama as the live-action anime scene where Aqua plays the stalker.
You're right. Huh. I mean, they did that on purpose, obviously.
The live-action cartoon anime show has the same level as realism as what's supposed to be real life.
Yes.
Wait, are you talking about the show Aqua Accent later, or are you talking about the live-action adaptation of Oshinoko?
Is there a live-action adaptation of Oshinoko?
Yeah, we're not talking about that. We're talking about the one Aqua Accent.
Yes, we're talking about the bad made-for-internet streaming manga adaptation that Aqua acts in.
Yeah, that one.
All right. I don't disagree. I think that they were going for thematic mirroring there. They intentionally hammed up the real life murder scene so that it would seem so that it would feel like a TV drama. Because that was Ai's entire life, wasn't it? Playing a character. Makes sense that she'd die like one.
Yeah.
Well,
Like,
I
for
mean,
fancy
no,
literary
I think
reasons, it makes sense.
for thematic reasons, when you're trying to show the darker side of the industry, I think you should go as realistic as possible for a death
I
scene
agree.
like that.
I don't think it was a great choice. I do think I understand the choice. Titania says they liked the beginning, but they suddenly fell off halfway through. Halfway through seems like a weird place to fall off for me. Exactly halfway through?
Yeah, if we're talking episode 6, episode 6 is the best episode in the entire series. I can understand falling off on, like, episode 9 or 10.
Or episode 4 or 5. Like, fall off a third of the way through or 2/3 of the way through. But falling off halfway through, don't get that one. Should we just go to episode 2?
I think we should.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's a decent movie. Probably not the best way to start it, but I don't think they had a choice.
I think they had a choice. I think they had a choice, and I think it was a fine choice. It's something I never would have thought of doing. I, the personal pronoun, not I, the character, which, God, the amount of times people talked about I, the character, and I thought they were just using the pronoun I hate it. Like,
That's
my fault for watching the dub. My fault for watching the dub.
Oh, you know what would have been? They should have renamed I to Lava.
Yeah,
so she's just called
perfect. Like, no, like, you say that jokingly, and obviously they should not have done that. But I love it when dubs rename characters. I think that is such a feat of translation. Like, Deku should have been named Tryhard. I know it's not the exact same thing, but it would have resonated so much more with audiences, and it would have... it's so much snappier in English. But
actually, I'm not gonna lie, Tryhard...
Great name, right?
When I think about it, that's actually a good hero name.
Yeah!
Damn, Horikoshi, why didn't you think of that one?
Should have tried harder. But yeah, like, is there a name you could have used for I that would have gotten the same point across without being so confusing? Like...
some name that signifies love.
Yeah,
Dole. Name her Dole so that we can have Idol.
Sure. Her name is literally
stupid.
Star Eyes. Yes, it is. Something related to that. A hero named Tryhard using moves named after the US is funny as fuck. Okay, I didn't think that far ahead. Okay. Nothing comes to mind for a new name for our dead idol girl. Sparkle is not a name.
What is this, My Little Pony?
We just don't name people after love, really. Call her Amour or something.
Sparkle on, bitches.
Oh, you could call her Amy. Amy comes from the French word for loved or beloved.
Yeah, I guess that's the best.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, to be fair, it would be weird regardless because, like, what we have this one character with a French name in the middle of a bunch of Japanese people with Japanese names.
I think Amy fits in well enough. But no, you're right. That is... Well, you say Japanese names. Their names are Ruby and Aquamarine.
That's just the main
She's
bit.
bad at picking names.
They should have named her Goku because I love Dragon Ball. All right, episode 2.
You're so cool for that one. I trust Angela to name my kid.
In the 12 years since Ai's death, Ichigo has fallen out. Who the fuck is Ichigo? Is that the male manager? Ichigo has fallen out of contact. Ai's idol group B Kamachi has disbanded, and Miyako closed down Strawberry Productions' idol unit. Ruby has been auditioning to become an idol, unaware that Aqua has been using his acting skills to secretly sabotage her applications to give her false rejection notices. However, he cannot stop Ruby from being scouted by an underground idol group. Not trusting the management of said group and wanting to support Ruby's dream, Miyako decides to finally reopen Strawberry Productions' idol unit with Ruby as its first member. Meanwhile, Aqua works as director Gotanda's apprentice, but has given up on trying to be an actor and is currently working behind the scenes to find his father. Gotanda advises Aqua not to give up on his dreams so easily, causing him to recall Ai's last words to him. Aqua and Ruby are later admitted into the prestigious Yoto High School, which has a performing arts department. Which has a performing arts department? Which is the high school performing arts department of all of Japan. While visiting the school, the twins encounter Kana again, who is glad to see Aqua again, but is shocked that he is enrolled in the general education department instead of performing arts. Okay.
It's okay, guys. Don't worry. The school does not matter.
Mm-hmm.
The school has no purpose, even though I adore the character designs that come from it. Oh yeah, we didn't talk about Kana in episode 1.
We didn't talk about Kana, and we did not talk about Gotanda.
I don't think we have to talk about Kana right now.
Yeah, that's right.
We can talk about Kana later? Yeah?
Yeah, we don't have to talk about Kana.
But we should talk about Gotanda.
Yes.
Because as soon as he showed up on screen, I took a screenshot of him and I sent it to my wife and I said, I have found a man for you. He is...
What?
He is grungy and he has sad, tired eyes and he looks a little bit like Jesus, and I know a couple of people who have exactly that as their type.
I did not expect it looks a little bit like Jesus, but I get it.
But he looks a little bit like Jesus, right? He looks like Chad Kroger Jesus.
Chad Kroger Jesus. Yeah. I think I said this before, like episode 2 in the discussion. And it still holds true. Gotanda's mother is the best character in this show.
Oh, yeah. Excellent bit character. Should have renamed him Christ. We've already had this conversation way back in Angel Beats. Of course they should.
I actually really like most of the characters. Like, I enjoy Kana. I enjoy Gotanda. I enjoy Miyako. I like all these characters. I adore Minami, because in the dub they gave her the most southern accent humanly possible.
Yes, they did. It was like an oh my word, a nice Alabama Southern Belle accent, but just a little trashier.
Listen, I get it. That's the thing. When we want to dub Osakan accents, we just go Southern because it makes sense and it tells
of Southern.
I did not expect the most Southern Belle.
Mm-hmm.
Like, from my understanding, Osaka accents is just rough. Like, you just have a rougher way of speaking.
But no, she has this exaggerated, like, upper class Southern gentleman accent. Which is perfect because she just outright says, yeah, the accent's a lie. I do it for vibes. I respect that so
I guess that's why they did it, though, is she's playing up the accent.
Mm-hmm. No, for sure.
I wish she actually mattered in the show.
Hey, maybe
because I would love to hear her.
Maybe she matters later.
Maybe she matters later. I also really like Frill, just because she has no concept of other than just purely speaking her mind.
Who the hell is Frill?
Frill is the snake lady, the green girl.
What in the world are you talking about? No, this character is not in my head.
Here, hold on. Let me grab a picture.
Light green eyes, dark green hair. They say she's very famous.
I am.
Talk about her.
Oh, okay. Yeah. The one who is already professional and well known and
Yeah.
shouldn't be here. Yeah, I know
She-
her. The
she-
one who turns out to be very funny later.
No, yeah, she's just literally like, oh, I know you. Oh, you're Aqua. You were in
Mhm.
that one Kids movie. Oh, you. Just points at Ruby
Yep,
and just
you-
like, yeah,
You'll
congratulations.
get there. You'll get there, buddy.
You'll get there.
No, it's like me with John Michael Tatum.
Even Frill knows that Ruby has no point in the show.
Mm-hmm. All right. So we've talked about Gotanda. We've talked about Gotanda's mother. Those boys were so easy on my eyes, my vision improved. Was that one of Frill's lines?
I believe so.
I remember, like, near the end of this show, I just started playing Minecraft and kind of vaguely looking over at my screen every now and again, so I did miss what she said that was so funny. But I heard the tone she said it in, and I was like, yep, that's a funny girl. Okay. Not really much to talk about in the second episode, I don't think. I don't even think I took any notes for the second episode.
I mean, yeah, I think it is a mostly plot happens episode, but I would like to ask you guys one question, which is, would you say that Aqua is a siscon?
Yeah, he has a sister complex. It doesn't mean it's sexual, but he definitely has a complex about his sister.
Yeah, that going back to what I said earlier about how the con suffix is a bit more complicated than the English file suffix. Like, it's
Right.
inclusive of sexual kink, but it's not exclusive to sexual kink.
Yeah, he's just overprotective to a near psychopathic level of just like, I'm going to control every part of your life so that you are safe.
Yeah. Yeah, the next note I have after episode 1 is episode 3. And this
Well,
is where
let's
we
go
get
to
the high
episode
school
3.
play acting. All right. Sure, episode 3, which is called Manga-Based TV Drama. Kana is eager to reconnect with Aqua and tries to talk him into getting back into acting, offering a role in a live-action adaptation of the manga series Sweet Today. She mentions that she has connections to a famed producer, Misaya Kaburagi, and Aqua recognizes one of the names on Ai's secret contact list that he found in her personal phone. Aqua agrees to take a role as an excuse to get close to Kaburagi. Kana secures a role as the show's villain for Aqua, but he discovers that the show is a very low-quality production. Kana admits the show's cast young male models and prioritize their looks over their acting ability, and she has been forced to hold back on her own acting talent. She further explains due to her spoiled behavior as a child, she quickly fell out of favor in the acting industry and as she grew older. During a break in filming, Aqua manages to collect some saliva samples from Kaburagi's discarded cigarettes and overhears that Kaburagi is only taking advantage of Kana. Despite having gotten what he came here for, Aqua decides to stay on and go all out in his acting. Talking about Aqua's acting, I love the angle that they went with him, where they actually made the reincarnation matter so that he could pull off a creepy child very well. I love that got him in with a director who thought he was a wonderful actor, and that now he's a good actor. But now that his biological age is catching up to his mental age, he's losing a lot of that spark.
I actually really liked that, yeah. That's the one
That's
thing
a
I'll
great
give
idea.
the reincarnation aspect I'll give it a thumbs up on that one.
Mr. Word, we're not going to tolerate attack helicopter jokes. But no punishment.
I didn't notice an attack helicopter joke, but
It was not out of the blue. It was a helicopter joke more than anything, due to him being a helicopter brother.
oh, I mean, no, that's fine. That has nothing to do with gender.
It's not fine. The joke was he identifies as an attack helicopter in reference to him being a helicopter brother that somebody else said.
Oh, okay. Well, anyway,
But
let's get back on track before I get
maliciously.
sad.
I don't think it was said maliciously. We're fine. But we've got Aqua over here. I love when they play with the reincarnation thing. Like I said, I got a little bit off track. I was going to talk with Kana as well. Because going into the specific struggles faced by aging child actors is something I find very interesting. I love shows that delve into childhood in interesting ways. and seeing Kana just age out of her agency is very fun. And one thing that I think I really appreciated about this show is how Kana doesn't have the same personality at all that she did when she was a child. I think that these kinds of shows usually they keep their characters stagnant so that the audience can recognize them. Like, it's not reasonable for a character to be an absolute prick of a child and then grow up and be the exact same way 10 or 12 years later. But they want the audience to recognize them as the same character and acting the same so that it's more consistent from a viewer's perspective. So they don't change as much as they naturally should. And I feel like having Kana just actually be a completely different person than she was when she was 3 shouldn't be something noteworthy, but it is, and I appreciate it.
I mean, I suppose you're right. I didn't think about it that way. After all, I mean, Ruby does call her brattiness, I think, in episode
something
2.
Like that.
And I didn't think of that as just being because she was extremely bratty in episode 1. But I felt like at least some bit of that brattiness is still kind of left. She still
I mean, like,
kind of
during
arrogant.
her formative years, she was told to believe that she was better than everyone else around her. So that's gonna stick with her a little bit. Like, but she's also very naturally seen the consequences of acting like you're the queen bee all the time. Especially when you aren't actually in a position of power, like actors typically aren't. Wouldn't have been surprised if she grew up into a classic bratty tsundere, but what we got was infinitely better. Yeah, like, I don't think that the character is all that interesting to watch on a scene-by-scene basis. But I think when it's taken all together, there are definitely high points. And as much as I wish we get more Kana later, we do.
Yeah, okay. So I should probably give my thoughts because I was pretty vocal about this.
Yeah.
I love Kana. I think she's great. I think she's the probably the best part about the show business arc. I love her character. I wish she wasn't in the rest of the series afterwards because they just turn her into loving Aqua at the end.
Yep. Just like everyone else,
I don't
right?
agree with that.
Kana fans eat good later. All right, well, that's good to know.
No,
Wish I
mean,
could have seen that.
I assume they mean the final arc, which is like the last 3 episodes or so. I mean, I would agree with that. Sure, like, a lot of her character at that point is loving Aqua, but I felt like that was kind of justified.
Oh, I assume they mean season 2.
What he was doing for her.
You know, real talk though, the show business arc actually the best part. The second best part is Kana. The first best part was getting to see the high school play level acting from everyone.
No,
that was hilarious.
Yeah. No, I always love watching anime characters act poorly. It's hilarious. Like, the thing that I quote most from Oran is, "Oh, my Lord Frederick." And I think that's true of most people. Is this discussion based only on the anime? Yes, it is. No manga spoilers, please.
But show business is also kind of boring.
Yeah, so we all agree that Kana has potential as a character, but that they don't really do enough with it in season 1, at least.
I don't agree with that. I'm gonna be honest.
You don't agree with that?
Yeah, because I thought like the final episodes did well to kind of build on the fact that she was kind of a failed child star and she has to now cope with her insecurities.
You
and
are right.
What she can do to overcome that.
No, I like the idea of putting Kana in the center of the new Bikamachi. mostly because I just love that it's not Ruby. But I like the thought of putting Kana in the spotlight again, where she is in a position where she has to be a little assertive, has to be a little selfish, and she has to now strike that balance where she is being forced to engage with these parts of her personality that have turned so many people off for her entire life, that she probably struggled very hard to fix in her early years, and now she has to go back to that well. I don't think it's the right direction. And I also like, I don't know, like, in a vacuum, I like everything about it. It just didn't hit. It felt off. Because I like that they're emphasizing the part of her career that was at its lowest, too. Like, they aren't saying, oh, you're an actor, so we're going to give you this acting job now. They write an acting job into the script for her. They're saying, oh, after you failed as an actor, you also failed as a singer, but you were good at failing as a singer. Would you like to try that again? Would you like to go back to this other part of your career? It's like the BoJack Horseman show instead of horsing around.
It's idling around.
Idling around. Yeah, would you like to try out this other thing that failed before and see if it works this time, when you are trying so hard to get your acting career back off the ground? No, I think that that's a good idea. It didn't hit for me.
Yeah, we'll get to it when we get to it,
Fair.
but the last arc was probably the worst part of this show.
Definitely.
And even though I like Kana, I don't think her struggle was portrayed well enough for me to just not say I've seen this sort of character 100 times before.
Let's think about it this way. We have episode 6. And what the hell is this girl's name? Yuki?
Akane?
No. Akane?
Do you mean the one that... Akane is the one that tries to commit suicide.
Yuki's the popular one. Yeah. Akane's the
I was just
the
scanning through the synopsis of the episode. We have episode 6. And we have Akane. And we have her entire story told in basically one episode. Where it's so damn impactful. We understand everything that she is feeling every moment. The direction of the scene portrays her emotions beautifully. We can see from her words, from other people's actions, everything that's going on in her head and why it's all happening. And why she's still enduring this, even though it is literally making her want to kill herself. And we all feel for Akane so hard. We all see this arc happening, and we feel things about it. And compared to that, everything that happens with Kana just falls flat. Her motivation is not as intense. The problems that she's facing are not as serious. The solutions for them are more trivial. Like, as decent as Kana's character arc is, I think it's just one of the problems with it is that it's put up against something that's truly very good and something that happens all at once. So there's this big impact immediately. And I just don't think it can hold up. I think it becomes worse by comparison.
Kana gets relegated for pretty much all of the dating reality show arc to just being exposition to explain stuff to Ruby, like how you shouldn't search your own name to see what people are saying.
No, like I said, that's not the only problem. I just think that in this situation, it's going to be very hard to make any other character with show business related problems seem serious.
The show was too good, and it made the rest of the show suffer.
It concentrated all of its quality into one place, and that quality was not any of the main characters. That place was not any of the main characters.
Yeah. I mean, I can understand what you mean. I didn't feel it personally.
Mhm.
Uh, so I do think it's. I mean, it's kind of a matter of preference.
I don't think
But
having two
maybe,
good character arcs in proximity is bad. No, of course not. But they have to be just as good as each other. Otherwise, one is going to take away from the other. Uh, Kana is in the unfortunate role of nagging Aqua because of jealousy. I mean, you say unfortunate, I say deliberate writing choice. Which, why? Like, I guess I understand Kana being romantically interested in Aqua. Like, they work together as children, so they have history together. They're in the same business, so they have, like, that kind of understanding with each other. And she works with his sister, so they, like, talk every now and then, I guess. And he's pretty handsome. So, like, I get it. But that's not a personality. Like, it takes away from everything else she's going through instead of just being another thing in the show, if that makes sense. A lot of the romantic arcs around here, this is going to sound so stupid to say, but they feel artificial. In a show that's all about love being artificial, the love scenes feel artificial. Like, but do you
is the
two understand what I'm
intention?
saying? Do you agree?
It's definitely not supposed to be intentional.
Right. Like,
Yeah.
that's what makes me feel so stupid criticizing this show for, like, being stilted or like melodramatic, because it's a show about show business being a front. Like, every part of this show that's bad is meta commentary on show business being bad. Like, whether they mean for that to be the case or not, which they don't, it just makes me feel stupid to say it. She has the self-confidence and rejection issues after being told that Aqua trusts her to talk honestly and then being lied to. You don't get it. It's bad on purpose. Okay. Episode 4.
Yeah.
Cool. Aqua uses his skills to set up a scene for Kana's performance. This gives Kana the opportunity to show off her true acting skills, which earns the praise of the people still watching the show. At the rap party, Aqua meets Kaburagi again, knowing that he is not his father thanks to a paternity test. Kaburagi mentions that he knows someone I had been spending time with in secret and offers to tell Aqua who it is in return for starring in a reality dating show. Sometime later, Aqua and Ruby attend their first day at Yoto High School, where Ruby befriends fellow student and gravure model Minami Kotobuki. She introduces Minami to Aqua and also mentions that the famous professional entertainer Frill Shiranui is also a member of her class. This makes Ruby self-conscious about the fact that she does not have an established place in the entertainment industry yet. She pesters Miyako and Strawberry Productions moving forward with forming their idol group, but Miyako points out that it is not easy for a small company like theirs to recruit idols. Aqua then suggests that they recruit Kana. We've already talked about this episode.
Pretty
I
much,
guess.
yeah.
Unless?
I will comment. I thought it was kind of interesting how, like, most of the arcs in this show revolve around Aqua having some role in the thing,
Mhm.
and that actually means he would have the school would have suited him a lot more than it did Ruby, because he's also doing a lot of show business stuff. That means he has to skip out on school a lot,
Mhm.
but he's just in a normal part of the school.
Right.
Crazy.
It is weird that he didn't go for the performing arts section of the school if he wanted to get connections in the entertainment industry, because that's what performing arts schools are for.
Yeah, I mean, I guess at that point he might have still been
no
intending to
editing.
just be behind the scenes. Yeah, doing some stuff like that that I
Mhm.
suppose wouldn't be
Like,
time demanding. As time.
thematically, I get it, because he's all behind the scenes and sneaky and he wants to manipulate people. Editing, directing, instead of being in the spotlight and acting on his own. Acting.
Like Ruby.
But when you're not
Except
looking
that-
at it as a metaphor, and you're instead looking at it as the actions that a person is doing, it just doesn't make sense. Let's get to the best part, the Kana Ruby dance with the YouTuber. We'll get there.
That's not this episode, but
We'll
I
get
don't
there.
think we have anything else to talk about this episode.
I don't remember. I guess I
You
can.
don't remember?
I don't remember. Yeah, I only watched the show in like the last 2
Oh,
weeks.
how could
My
you ever
memory has
forget my YouTube channel?
How could you ever forget Anime Hootie?
Whoo! We're gonna have to work you out for that.
Oh right, actually looking through, this is the episode where they actually do the scene where like everyone says, "Wow, this really redeemed this dog shit show now." They really did it.
Mm-hmm.
And even the author is like, "Wow, I'm gonna tear up."
Tear to my eye. They did my baby proud at the very end. They've been drowning my baby for 6 episodes now, but man, they pulled it out of the water just in time for it to live with only minor brain damage.
Yeah.
I'm so glad that my
day.
manga became an anime because, well, at least one episode was good.
Oh, not an anime. A drama.
This is like the opposite of what I see in the anime community. Like it happens sometimes that people say like a whole show is ruined because the final episode is bad or something.
Mhm.
Here it's because the show being good. Well, I mean, at least the show being somewhat redeemed by the final episode.
I feel like there is at least one example of a show that people are like, you just got to get to the end. I can't think of what it is, but I feel like I've heard that.
A bad
yeah,
show.
you're gonna have to find me later.
Mm-hmm.
I don't remember hearing about anything like that.
Well, maybe I'm full of shit.
Nor watching anything like that. Quite possibly.
Mm-hmm. All right. Episode 5, Reality Dating Show.
Yep.
While reluctant to risk her acting career by becoming an idol, Kana decides to sign up with Strawberry Productions so she can work alongside Aqua. However, she is shocked that his next job is for a reality dating show titled My Love with a Star Begins Now. When he stars alongside famous model Yuki Sumi, dancer Nobuyuki Kumano, actress Akane Kurakawa, internet personality Memcho, and musician Kengo Morimoto, all of whom matter. Even though Aqua is putting on an act for the show, Kana feels jealous at how he is interacting with his female co-stars. Meanwhile, Miyako gets to work starting up Strawberry Productions' new idol unit. She decides to have Ruby and Kana make their debut online and enlists the help of one of their veteran internet personalities, Peon, a masked physical training YouTuber. Peon determines that the quickest way for the girls to gain a following is to collaborate with his established channel. They perform a rigorous workout dance routine for an hour straight, with Ruby earning Kana's respect after seeing her last the entire hour. Peon then asks them what their group name will be, and Ruby decides to revive the name Bikomachi.
You're really committed to the bit there.
Oh, thank you. I am nothing
Good
if
job.
not committed. Check the screen.
Can I just say my initial comments on, I guess, like the entire reality TV show arc?
Oh, please do.
So I was actually surprised by how genuine a lot of it was. Not just because the show, I mean, because reality TV shows are something we're supposed to understand as being very fake, especially in the context of a show like this, where they're like always talking about how fake the whole showbiz is. But then, I mean, of course, all the characters do act like they don't really care about these relationships in the way the show makes it seem. But they're all still very good friends in the way you might expect, maybe even better than you would. I think I just expected something that was a lot more cynical. Like if Yuki, the long-haired girl, if she was actually kind of a complete bitch off camera, and what we see instead is just her being nicer on camera sometimes.
They're all just like normal teenagers.
Yeah, and
I'll give the show props for that. They're all just normal teenagers and one 25-year-old, but let's not worry about that right now.
Fine.
Yeah, that might be a good.
Really glad she didn't make any attempts on these teenagers.
I enjoyed the reality dating show arc well enough. I would watch a show where the entire premise is this is a bunch of child stars on a reality dating show. And also we get to see them when they are not on the show.
You know what I think is so funny about episode 5?
What?
Is that both me and ExPoint, both collectively in the discussion, were like, hey, wait, who's Akane? I don't remember her. Like, why is she important now? And, like, I mean, I think that's intentional.
Mm-hmm.
I think she's supposed to, like, not be memorable until she is.
No, I agree with that. And again, like, I don't think it's a problem that most of these reality dating show characters aren't all that memorable.
I thought they were going to do a lot with Yuki, but she only gets, like, one episode to, like, establish she's the main bitch in this dating show. And then the other 2 boys are boys.
Yep, and the boys don't matter.
Yeah.
Have never mattered, will never matter.
Yep, that includes Aqua.
Is this a boy show? Nope.
Girl
show.
Really. I mean, he saves Akane. I mean, Akane does
garbage. But we'll get to that.
Maybe, yeah, I guess we can.
But yeah, I like the reality dating show dynamic. I like what's going on within that little self-contained system. I like it. I don't like it as part of this show. As part of Oshinoko.
Why?
I don't know. I think this show just isn't for me.
You're just too old for this.
Probably.
You need to retire.
You're probably right. Maybe I just need to hang up my silver play button and go home.
Which is probably alright.
I mean, they're just getting amateur numbers. They'll never compare to you.
No, well, for everyone in the YouTube chat, while we were watching seasonal anime, we got to Jellyfish Don't Swim in the Night, and Jelly said that her goal was to get 100,000 subscribers, and I just screamed rookie numbers. Which is one of the meanest things I have ever said to a fictional character.
Definitely.
Mm-hmm. Anyway.
I think you mean funniest.
What else happens this episode? We need to talk about Peon a little bit.
Yeah, I think we all agree that's definitely a channel that probably exists somewhere out there.
Oh, for sure. Probably not on YouTube, but I'm sure there are some websites where you can find something like that.
Wait, we're peeing on who?
Peon.
Peon,
yeah, Peon who?
Yeah,
mask.
Peon.
Peon who?
Peon? Pandemic?
Peon yourself.
I love this ducky fucker.
Well, we don't know that he fucks the ducks.
I mean fucker in the affectionate term, not the sexual term.
I mean, he's very obviously thrown in there for also random humor.
Yeah, but, like, the problem is that I can see his channel being real, and that's a problem.
Yeah. Like,
that's a problem, affectionate.
You said earlier that you like the way this show can portray teenagers who feel like teenagers. And I also like the way this show can portray YouTubers who feel like YouTubers.
Yep.
Yeah. That's a definite pro the show has as a whole.
The extent to which this guy maintains his persona, like I understand that it's Aqua, like, impersonating him, but, like, he never takes off his mask. He does the voice when the camera's not rolling. His life is Peon. Like, that part is a joke. And it's the kind of humor that's never gonna hit me.
Or maybe you're underestimating how far YouTubers who make content for children go.
I hope I'm not.
Same.
Anyway, the 25-year-old YouTuber hanging out with teenagers was too real. Yes, absolutely. Big fan of that. Especially because at the beginning of, I think it is the next episode or the one after that. One after that, I think. when Miyaki or whatever her name is talking with Memcho. She's like, "You're representing your age, aren't you?" I'm like, "Oh God, no, no, please." She says, "Oh yeah, by 3 or 6 years." Like, "Oh God, no, no, please." Like, so you're 24? Like, oh, she's older. She's older than she says she. Okay, whoa, whew. Okay. No way I'm gonna do that. I make 2 million yen a year. Fantastic.
I will say, well, since we're talking about the YouTube stuff, I find it funny how like they're going over ways to grow your channel, and they don't give any advice that would go for someone who's not in an agency like this.
I think that's fine because they are in an agency.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like it's not going to be a tutorial for everyone watching at home.
They don't need advice for people who aren't in agencies.
Yeah, the people who are watching the show already have 200k subscribers.
Didn't you hear? Like, how do you grow your channel? You make content, loser. Put out more than one video a month if you're lucky. Interact with your audience. Tweet more than twice a week. No wonder you can't afford health insurance. Speaking of YouTubers dying, episode 6?
Episode 6!
Episode 6 is called Ego Surfing, which, excellent title. As the season of Love Now continues, Aqua comes to learn that reality show stars are less scripted and more genuine than he had initially thought. Kana teaches Ruby about the importance and dangers of ego surfing since idols need to carefully manage their appearance and reputation online. The show soon began to focus on the love triangle between Yuki, Nobuyuki, and Kengo, with Aqua deciding to stay out of it to avoid drawing attention to himself. Memcho enjoys an increase in her subscriber numbers, but Akane struggles to stand out and gain attention, leaving her with the least screen time. Under pressure from her agency to get results, Akane briefly loses composure and slaps Yuki on film, accidentally scratching her face with her freshly painted nails. While Yuki forgives Akane and Akane herself posts a formal apology, Akane becomes the target of cyberbullying by Yuki's fans. After being constantly bombarded with negative comments, Akane falls into a state of depression and nearly leaps off a pedestrian overpass, only being saved by a last-second intervention from Aqua, our hero. One of the best episodes in general is a great way to describe this, Nathan.
This episode is so good because I thought it was going to be like super boring.
Mm-hmm.
I thought it was just going to be like, oh, she slapped him. Now we're going to get this melodrama of these two actors where they say they're fine, but they're not fine. And it's just going to be so simple and boring.
Mm-hmm.
And then they got to the internet and I was like, oh no, real shit? Oh, Gamerlean?
No, like you say, they're going to be fine, but they're not fine. It's all simple and boring. Of course they're fine. Of course they're fine. Everybody on this show gets it. They know exactly what was happening there, and a hug is the way that ends. Expectations, boring, reality, Twitter. No, like, the fact that there is absolutely no bad blood at all in the cast is what makes this. Like, if she were being harassed on all sides, from the public who doesn't know what's going on and the cast who does, that's too much. I think the whole thing falls apart if that happens. I think we get a magical girl site situation. But we don't. Because there is a dramatic irony here that's playing out between the girl who actually did the thing and knows everything that she was thinking at the time, the people who were around to see it happen and who can understand her mental state and are not holding a grudge against her, and then there's everyone on the periphery. Everybody who does not know the story. Everybody who has seen this highly edited clip and does not know a lick of what actually happened. They are the ones who fucking hate her. And of course, they are the ones who matter.
Yeah, I think this episode, what I like about it so much is that this is when Oshi no Ko is the realest portrayal of what it's like working in the entertainment industry.
Again?
This has happened This has happened before. It will
Well,
happen
apparently
again.
it's literally happened, and that's what all this controversy was about.
Well, yes, but it's just like this. This is the realest this anime ever goes
Mhm.
with the horrors of the entertainment industry.
Yep.
And it does not hold back, and that is what I love about it.
Mhm.
It doesn't put some sparkly filter over it. No, we get to see this girl go through like all of this trauma and go through all of this depression and feel so isolated that she can't even ask her mom to help because she doesn't want to be a burden. It is, you cannot breathe during the second half of this episode. You are just stuck transfixed watching it.
No, this episode proves that Oshi no Ko has bones. It has bones, it has muscles, it has skin. It can do everything it is trying to do, and it's choosing not to. Like,
Yeah.
instead,
I mean,
we
I
have
think
a weird reincarnation murder mystery going on.
I talked about this before, but this anime has such a weird like duality where the murder mystery and the horrors of the entertainment showbiz are constantly fighting each other for screen time, and it's very clear that one of them is a lot better and one of them is losing hard.
Yep. Like, I feel like the author had the idea, what if two idol fans are actually reincarnated as the children of an idol? And then had the idea for Ai, and said, okay, who is this idol that they were reincarnated to? She has to be just the best idol ever. But she can't still be around, because then they wouldn't have careers. So she gets killed. Oh, what if there's a murder mystery?
Huh.
And then you have that already set. And then you think, okay, but I don't want to make just a regular idol show with a murder mystery. Let's make it gritty. And that, while it is the better thought, feels like it was the second thought. And by the time they got to what the core of this story is, they had already made all this other stuff. And they didn't want to throw it out. You feel me?
I don't
'Cause
know about that.
that's what it feels like to me.
I understand your thought process. Of course, I won't assent to that being the likely explanation.
Yeah, of course, I don't
Right.
know. I don't care what the author was thinking. This is just the vibe I get.
Yeah.
Would you have stuck around just for the horrors of the industry and an idol group resurrected, though?
Yes!
Yes. Yes,
This
absolutely.
show does it so well!
Mm-hmm. The plot needs a through line to get the same characters to keep being the protagonists. Why?
They could
also-
literally... They could literally just want to be part of the entertainment industry.
Mhm.
Like, you can have Ai and everything.
They can be the
You could even-
the children of an idol. I think that's a great idea, actually, because you have the children of an idol who are born into the entertainment industry. There are a lot of different angles that you can take with that. You can take the idea that the entertainment industry career is a given for them, so they don't understand the privilege they have and how hard other people have to work to make it in this hellish place. So you have them sitting over here saying, let them eat cake, when everyone else is just clawing against each other to get even the slightest bit of screen time that they've just been handed their entire lives. And then they are exposed to the horrors of the industry at the same time as the viewer. Or you could also have them just be very nonchalant about the entertainment industry, maybe blasé. They don't really care. So they're sources of conflict for all of the people who are actually trying their absolute damnedest to make a career out of this. Whereas other people who don't give a shit are just thrown into it because of who their mom is.
I could even see a scenario where Ai is still alive and just
Ai
not part
should
of the
still be
idol
alive.
industry. Like, you could just have it where she's not part of the industry anymore because she's just grown older, she
Yep.
can't work anymore, and now she's just a stay-at-home mom.
Yeah.
And you can just see the light left her eyes, and that makes Aqua worried about his sister.
Yeah. And that brings up plot potential, too. where now, if these two are ever found out to be the illegitimate children of Ai Hoshikawa,
Yes.
that's gonna ruin their careers.
Oh, sorry. I Hoshino.
Ai Hoshino, that was it. But yeah, that'll ruin their careers if that gets out. And maybe Ai wants to come clean about it.
Wait, why would it ruin their careers? I mean, it would be like it could soil Ai's career, which is already over.
They're the children of a 16-year-old idol. That's just
You
going to get spread. Yeah, news sources are going to run with that and absolutely destroy them.
Yep. Just from what I understand, that will not fly.
I mean, that sounds like an interesting show as well. I won't lie, but I would say that seems like a kind of similar but different show at that point. I don't.
Yeah, for sure, it's a different show. I just think that that's a better show.
I'm not sure. Maybe it would be better. I don't think the way this show does it is particularly flawed.
I'm mostly responding to the person. Yeah, I'm mostly responding to Tors up here, who implied that we would not just watch a show about the dark side of the entertainment industry if there weren't a murder mystery and a reincarnation plot.
I think this show would not be as popular without it, but it would be just as good.
It would. I think
it would probably be better.
I think it would shine if it picked a lane. I think it could be a great campy melodrama in the vein of Happy Sugar Life or what's that other one I mentioned?
Magical Girl Sight?
No, Magical Girl Sight's not a melodrama, really. I think it could be a great melodrama in the vein of Happy Sugar Life or something like that. If it were to dive headfirst into the reincarnation plot and the murder mystery. And I think it could be an excellent deconstruction of idol shows if it dove headfirst into all of the Akane style stuff about how this actually affects everybody's mental health and how rough it is to try to make a living in this industry. But it's trying to do both, and they're both suffering for it. Okay. Episode... Is there anything else?
Actually just...
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I did. So about ego surfing, I wanted to ask you, so do you feel like this is something that could reasonably happen in real life? That is just the very fact that she got her face scratched a bit. Like, that's something that could really rile up people to this extent?
Yes.
Yes.
On the internet?
Yes, I do. I don't think she even has to touch her.
See, here's the thing.
I think if she gave her a dirty look and it was edited right, I think that the internet could have gone wild to this.
No, yeah, that's the main issue, and the reason why it popped off so hard is because the director and the cast and crew saw this scene, knew that it would absolutely destroy this woman's career, and then still edited it into the show.
Yep.
For clout.
Because they knew it would drum up controversy and it would get views.
But hey, all publicity is good publicity, right?
Correct.
So I've
that
heard.
is why they would do it.
Yeah, like, again, I'm lucky enough to have never had this kind of scandal or backlash to anything I've ever said. And I think I've said some things that people might backlash against.
Like Attack on Titan is for
like Attack on Titan is for children. Like Attack on Titan is for children. Like Made in Abyss. Like the nudity in Made in Abyss season 1 is perfectly justified. No, like I have takes that I think that people could certainly lash out against me for. But like from the very mild criticism I have received online, it does fucking affect you, even if you're not the kind of person who typically cares what other people think. There's something about, like, it doesn't even have to be a lot of people. If you get 4 or 5 people saying the same bad thing about you, it's locked in. You have to wonder, like, am I actually whatever this bad thing was? There are a few people saying so. So it's not coming from nowhere. Like, do these people's opinions matter? Are they based on something, or are they just trying to be mean? It stays in your head forever. So no, I think that they definitely did an excellent job with this, and the best part is that they didn't even make it. They didn't make it about the cyberbullies. They didn't even make it about Akane. They were very clear that the problem was bigger than any of the people involved and bigger than the people who were reacting to the things that were done. The problem came from the directors and the presentation of the scene. It's like people talking about how the Twitter algorithm is intentionally created to cause these kinds of fires because they get engagement and that makes money. Social media is engineered in a way that that intentionally destroys people because that's what people want to do. And I think that this show was very brave for actually getting that right, when a much more easier and accessible way of doing this would just be to have everyone hate Akane. And to make it because of what Akane did. But no, I feel like this episode probably came from a very personal place that the writer, the mangaka, was channeling there. The least realistic thing is that the staff felt guilty enough to let them release their video. Yep, instantly lost all believability. That would never happen.
Do you take that seriously?
Huh?
Yeah, the director gave in too quickly.
The director gave in at all? Even the director, even the person who chose to release that cut, is beholden to other people. Is beholden to a company and is beholden to faceless protocols that are in place that say, hey, you cannot do this. Like, that would never happen. But they needed a happy ending, I guess.
I mean, they could have done it without the video. I mean, I guess the video was kind of important for... Yeah, kind of difficult. Or at least not using that.
I feel like they could have had enough footage with just this, like, photos all of the cast members took.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I want to talk about Aqua saving her at the end, because that felt really shitty to me for ways that I haven't quite articulated yet.
I'm fine with it.
I'm fine with it, I guess.
Either way, if she... God, I can't believe I'm saying this. Time to get canceled on YouTube.
Woo!
If she jumped, I would have been fine with it.
Mm-hmm.
Because both her getting saved and both her dying are a release of tension.
See, I wanted it to be someone else who saved her, like Tors says. And... like,
I think the only other person who it could have fit to save her would be Yuki.
Yuki was the one who made the most sense. I think that Kana could have done it.
I would definitely
Big
would not
strong
say
man
Kana.
Comes to save the depressed girl, very common trope. Yeah, that's part of what I hate about it. I guess it makes sense for Aqua's character when you think about him as a doctor. Who has already seen a young girl die pointlessly. Why Kana? Because Kana is a person who has already failed in show business once. So having her be the one to save Akane is... she can come at this from an angle that none of her castmates can come at it from.
That's right, but she's also a complete outsider.
You're right, like, I do forget that they don't really have any relationship with each other. I was just looking at characters and thinking whose story would work here. But the reason I say Kana is because she can come at this from an angle that none of her castmates can come at it from. How do you get Kana there that... who cares? Not what I'm talking about.
I mean, how did the Aqua get there? They don't really explain how he managed to get there.
Aqua stalked her. He was worried about her, so he stalked her, and that makes it fine. Unironically.
Yeah. Give me a
The
man like
romance
that.
triangle, if they're still going with that angle, would have more friction. And also, Akane and Kana would then have a very positive relationship with each other that they just don't have.
I mean, probably their pre-existent relationship would also maybe complicate this scenario a bit. Because I'm not sure if you remember, but they established in the final episode that they knew each other from before and are on bad terms.
Don't remember. I remember them being on bad terms now that I mention it.
Yeah.
Now that you mention it, rather. But no, I think, well, even more reason for Kana to do it. Right? That's tension. Like,
Maybe.
yeah, I don't like you, but I don't want you to fucking die. What are you doing?
Right.
Mm-hmm. And that's one way to change that relationship, or not. Either way, that creates... One person saving another's life always creates an interesting character dynamic.
Okay,
Too bad Aqua is not interesting.
Yeah! Yeah, except for now, because it's just all the more reason for him to get his harem going. Who's the best girl in the show, in my opinion? Probably Frill. Like,
I would say Kana.
do you mean the best character or best girl? The best character is Kana. Or, sorry, Akane. Period. Best girl is Frill.
Best girl is Frill.
Aqua stalking her is the reason I didn't want him to be the one to save her. For me, it tacitly rewards the behavior, and I wanted Aqua not to be validated for doing it. You're right, but it's different. Don't stalk women, but also if you're concerned about your friends, I feel like there's a bit of justification there. Coming from somebody who has had a friend who has thankfully attempted suicide, did not succeed, they would not be alive if their friends didn't do a little bit of stalking. So, not the same situation, but I appreciate where you're coming from. Best girl for Aqua specifically. Now that's a weird question. Aqua should be alone.
I mean, he's kind of obsessed with Ida. I think that's a big part of his character.
Yeah, he needs to get over that before he can find anyone.
Do we want to talk about episode 7 with the creepiest bit of Akane?
Why would we want to talk about episode 7 if we're talking about being obsessed with I
don't know. Just a thought came to my head.
Tenek, are you cool with that?
I mean, it's related to what we're talking about now. So
yeah, we are running out of time. As Aqua
it's okay. The last few episodes will go quick.
Yeah, as Aqua narrowly saves Akane's life, Kana cautions Ruby that it's not uncommon for celebrities to commit suicide due to harassment. Meanwhile, Aqua and Akane are brought to the police station, where the rest of the Love Now cast gets to meet them. Aqua advises Akane that she still has the option of dropping out of the show, but she decides to stay on. Angry at the show staff who edited the footage to cast Akane as a villain, Aqua concocts a plan. First, he leaks the news about Akane's attempted suicide to the media. He then enlists the help of some of the cast members to create a video to rehabilitate Akane's image. The video proves a success, and most of the harassment against Akane dies down. Memcho and Yuki suggest that Akane use her acting skills to adopt a persona that would appeal to Aqua's tastes. When Aqua reveals his like for Ai, Akane aggressively studies her to emulate her behavior. At the next filming session, Akane officially returns to the show, and Aqua is shocked by how perfectly Akane is able to mimic Ai's personality. I actually have nothing to say about this episode. It's next episode.
I mean, I have some things to say about this episode.
Sure.
Well, I mean, for the first part, I guess we already talked about that. That doesn't need to be talked about more. But I think in the second episode, where Akane, kind of learns how to mimic Ai perfectly, and then Aqua, well, I don't know, maybe falls for it. Would maybe be going a bit far.
Right.
It
freaks Aqua out.
Yeah. I think I just want to mention this now because I mentioned before that I think the reincarnation plot is actually somewhat important for Aqua's character. I think that it's very evident here where he has to deal with his well, I mean, the fact that he's coming across seeing his love for Ai so clearly,
Mm-hmm.
and the way it's kind of mixed up in this weird way between, or what I suppose is his love for Ai as a fan, his love for Ai as his mother, and then maybe also even romantic love for Ai.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe that's a bit speculative. Uh, yeah, I guess that I just want to bring attention to that.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not sure I have more to say.
No. When it comes to this episode specifically, there's just not too much to talk about. The Death Note directing at the very end, where Akane is researching Ai, was very good. It was a very.
I was so terrified. They were about to ruin Akane's character.
And well, I mean.
Yeah, well, you know.
Hey, it's.
Hey,
it
there's still
sometimes.
some time. Maybe episode 8.
Mm-hmm.
Is there something else you want to say?
Not particularly.
I just want to bring up, since I guess this is a reoccurring element of the show we haven't brought up really, is that the show creates this association between having like starry eyes and being like extremely beautiful, or having a really gripping persona. And I mean, this scene seems to facilitate that. That's just figured that this isn't how these characters are supposed to literally appear.
Right.
To me, it was just weird because it seems very creepy.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I don't think I could imagine anyone like looking like that being beautiful, or
Sure.
being made more beautiful by it.
No, I mean, it's like you said, I don't think they're actually supposed to have eyes that look like that. I think it's a visual metaphor.
Yeah.
Especially since that would make each of the twins weird heterochromatic. Since they only have one.
One what?
One star.
Oh, they only have
One star eye.
Yeah.
Anyway.
One starry eye, yeah.
Episode 9 is called Be Kamachi.
Wait, you're gonna skip out episode 8 entirely?
No.
Because
No, I'm not. Sorry. Episode 8. Agua is caught off guard by Akane's performance and is left to reflect on exactly what his feelings for her and I are. After having a short talk with Kana, he's able to sort out his feelings, realizing he has no particular attraction to Akane herself. However, upon learning that she is skilled at profiling, Aqua decides to manipulate her to make use of her skills. On the final episode of Love Now, he openly kisses Akane on camera to Kana's annoyance. At the rap party, Aqua meets with Kaburagi, who agrees to hold up his end of the deal and arranges for a meeting next week. He then talks with Akane, and they both agree to pretend to be dating to keep up appearances. Akane also points out that Yuki has started dating Nobuyuki for real, despite rejecting him on the show. After the party, Memcho teases Aqua about his feelings for Akane and reveals that she had originally wanted to become an idol, but gave up after several setbacks. Aqua offers her the opportunity to join the reformed Bikamachi, which catches her off guard.
yeah.
So,
Memcho got the role.
yeah, this whole weird tangent for Akane's character, like, coming right after trying to kill herself and then immediately becoming a different person is a little weird.
I mean, I don't think that's the implication.
I
I
know.
think the idea is...
I know, but still.
Yeah. What, you think, like, she should just have a longer recovery period?
No, I think she shouldn't just instantly basically be I and then give Aqua the most Oedipus complex ever.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, that part is also weird. I'm willing to accept a person who can perfectly emulate another person because they have such great skills of insight. Because this is a work of fiction, and I think that makes for good drama, I am not willing to accept a person who can do it in one afternoon without ever meeting this dead person.
Right.
I do like the conceit for the plot that this character understands I so well that she can sniff out that she probably had illegitimate children, and then one of those illegitimate children says, oh shit, I can use this. Like,
Yeah.
The part of me that loves Happy Sugar Life, is latching onto that.
I'm gonna be so honest. I thought Aqua was gonna just like when she started talking about, I bet she had illegitimate children. I thought Aqua was just gonna be like, I have to kill her.
Yeah,
I
no,
don't put it
I
in
mentioned
parallel.
this in the Discord in our episode 1 discussion, but I wonder if he ever got up into any like extracurricular euthanizing as a doctor.
He is
Psychopath energy
very
right there.
he is very like cool with just immediately going to murder for a solution.
Corey said something about time frame being explicit. If I remember right, it is. I think she does say something like it being the next day. Well, I guess that might have been a part of the show, actually, now that I think about it. So I'd have to check. I don't know.
Like, whether or not it's explicit, I definitely got the impression that this happened overnight. Like, the framing of the scene where she's doing the research is very much gives the energy of this being an all-nighter.
Possibly. I do want to comment about Memcho joining in the end. That's honestly not something I expected, especially considering Akane was prevalent. I kind of expected her being like the third girl he's going to recruit for the idol group.
Yeah, Memcho didn't really get to do much.
Yeah.
Much of anything. Yeah.
Still doesn't.
Still doesn't. I like her character.
But yes, you know, she's around.
She's around. She has a way better sibling dynamic with Aqua than Ruby does.
It's true, and she's age appropriate if he decides to get incestuous.
Yeah.
Yes, the silver lining.
It's no, Memcho should have just been like, they should have just taken Memcho's personality, put it on Ruby, and the show, like, the dynamic would be way better.
It's true.
Actually, no, it still wouldn't, because Ruby and Aqua never interact outside of, like, the first episode, basically.
Oh,
like,
what?
they get some interactions, but, like, they just don't interact enough.
He's the overprotective brother. She's the sister who wants to.
Yeah, but he's always doing it from the shadows. Like, I don't know why Aqua's so he's overprotective because his mom died. He's not overprotective because he likes Ruby.
What, you wouldn't be charmed for the rest of your life if you heard your sister say, "Damn, mama, I just had a diaper change, but I feel like I'm gonna wet myself"? That's not the kind of dialogue that's gonna make you want to protect that creature from all harm for as long as you live.
I'm gonna go throw up now.
Anyway, episode 9. Have you guys been reading the manga? No. B. Kamachi. Miyako interviews M Cho and correctly guesses that she is much older than she claims to be. Memcho explains the situation that ultimately led to her becoming a streamer. Ruby and Kana overhear Memcho's story and accept her as part of B. Kamachi. Meanwhile, the popularity of the recent season of Love Now has put Aqua in the public spotlight. Memcho's popularity also brings some attention to the new B. Kamachi, and she comes up with the idea of reusing old B. Kamachi songs. However, Kana has difficulty keeping up with Ruby and Memcho during training, and she acts coldly toward Aqua out of jealousy. Aqua meets with Kaburagi again, who reveals Ai's secret lover is likely a member of Akane's theater group, La La La. He also shows an interest in the revived B. Kamachi and offers to secure them a spot in the upcoming Japan Idol Festival. Ruby and Memcho get into a competition over which of them should be the group's center. However, when they research Kana's music career, they discover she is actually a very talented singer, despite her claims to the contrary. This one's boring.
What happened?
Plot happened.
This was boring. Plot happened.
I didn't find it boring, but I can understand what you mean.
It's just like, I don't care about the idol group because they barely ever go into the dangers of it outside of the first episode with Ai.
It's not so much that they don't go into the dangers of it, because that would be great. It's that they don't go into anything. Like, there's no interpersonal drama between the group members. Like, we don't really get to see any of them accomplishing something that they've been striving for, except for Ruby, who doesn't matter.
This is just an actual...
They all fall into this idol group, and then it happens. What, Tenek?
Oshinoko turns into an actual idol group.
Mm-hmm.
Like an actual idol show. That's my problem.
Yep.
I would not agree with that. I mean, I would say sure for Ruby and Memcho, it is just them, fulfilling their dreams of being idols, and that's kind of it. No drama or whatever. But I felt like obviously the focus on this arc was mostly on Kana and her overcoming her, well, I mean, personal problems. So yeah, I mean, in that sense, it doesn't involve a lot of drama because it's just her working out her problems, and I guess Aqua helping her out with it,
like,
unknowingly,
that's
unbeknownst to
true.
her.
But by this point, I've just stopped caring about Kana's character, mostly because it feels like she's becoming a love interest machine for Aqua and nothing else. Like, I understand that they've given her this whole backstory about wanting to revitalize her career, basically, but she's so reluctant to do it. Like, it just feels like everybody who is in this idol group is being thrown into this idol group and dragged to the stage. Or, like, just shrugging their shoulders and going where they're told.
What? You were in the previous arc? Get your butt into our idol group.
The idol group, yeah. Anyway, people are saying that it becomes just an idol show for a few episodes, which is...
Yeah, the problem is a few episodes.
Which is why we only do self-contained shows in Anime Club.
Yep, the problem is a few episodes is the rest of the season.
Yep. It's the entire rest of everything we have. Okay. Episode 10, Pressure. Ruby and Memcho decide that Kana would be the best center, but Kana rejects the proposal. However, after hearing the other two sing and practice their routine, she relents in order to help prepare the girls for the lineup at the JIF. Miyako brings Peon back to coach the girls. In reality, it is actually Aqua disguising himself as Peon. The night before the concert, Kana hears a bit about Ruby's past and her motivations to become an idol. She decides to wander downstairs and accidentally finds out Aqua is posing as Peon. Come the day of the JIF, B Kamachi are crammed into a crowded room where dozens of other underground or less popular idol groups are fighting for space. Kana spends much of the day brooding over her own failed path to stardom. She even admits to a nervous Ruby that she herself is more nervous going out as a group. However, Ruby reassures her by pointing out that the three of them are all rookie idols, so failure should be expected. No longer afraid, Kana starts taking her position at center more seriously, just as B Kamachi's performance is about to begin. Have your coworkers ever sucked so much that you had to take the lead on a project?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Probably. I mean, I think I tend to do that by nature. I don't know if that sounds like I'm bragging. I wasn't trying to.
No, same here. Plot happens.
Plot happens. We get to go into Kana's story. I feel like I should like this story. Mm-hmm. I should like her struggles. For some reason, I don't.
And I think it's because of Akane.
Yeah, Akane is too good. We realized at this point that Kana is just basically love interest number 2 for Aqua.
What did you want from these idol episodes? Drama. Complication. A challenging look at the dark side of the idol industry.
You know what I would have adored?
What?
I would have adored if they messed up their first performance and everyone just leaves and they just have Aqua there just spinning glow sticks and they decide to continue onwards even without anyone else in the crowd.
Sure.
Like, they didn't succeed at all this arc.
But because their premiere was shit, they no longer have hope of becoming idols. That has to have consequences. In this show, that has to have consequences. This isn't K-On! This isn't Bochi.
Yeah, that's true, but we don't get to see those consequences or even the benefits of their concert succeeding this season, so...
Mm-hmm.
Wait, are you saying that the stakes here are too high for them to fail?
No, if anything, the stake, because because this show is Oshi no Ko, the stakes are perfect for them to fail, and they have to claw their way back into like relevancy. That's the kind of thing I expect from this show, not just an idol show.
Yep.
I mean, that's true, but I feel like then it might be a problem of what even to do with Kana's character. Because, I mean, she really needed this to get her confidence back.
Yeah, you ruin her. That's what you do.
I think you ruin her, and you just give her that small glimpse of hope that there's one person who still cares about her.
Mm-hmm.
And then the rest of the series is just her trying to get back, or at least a part of the rest of the series.
The rest of the series is her and Ruby just trying to like get the idol group back to relevancy.
Mm-hmm. I actually like the idea that Kana just gives up. She gets out of show business entirely, lives a different life. And like,
I mean, that is something that happens to a lot of child actors.
Very nearly all of them. Like, she had this chance in the idol group to get back to relevancy. She bombed it, and she takes that as a sign. She gives up on it, and she goes to do something else. And maybe she's happy with something else. Like, that doesn't have to be a tragedy. She can run a hardware store or something and realize that she loves it.
I don't know. I mean, I feel like at that point it might not have that much of a point because she could have just quit at the previous occasion that I don't know, instantiated some kind of flaw. I think this makes more sense. Well, I mean,
this show
she's
gave
been
me
going on for basically her whole life. I think that's the thing. Like, she hasn't been successful for 10 years, even though she's constantly been in show business, trying to do stuff. That's it.
And she could have given up at any time, and she didn't. So she is the kind of person who is known for constantly working toward this one goal, which is what I think makes it interesting when we see what happens when that person quits. For real.
This show gave me the happy ending when I asked for the realistic ending.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I mean, what do you think is unrealistic about them just having a good first concert?
It's boring and safe.
Yeah, not necessarily unrealistic. Like, it could happen. I think that these people have trained enough, and that the public generally has low enough standards, and that they have enough experience in the industry that they can throw together an idol group and do a decent job on this stage at this point in their career. I don't think it's unrealistic for that to happen. I think it's narratively unsatisfying.
Yeah, I don't know.
I mean we don't have a story we don't have a story from now on then? What do you mean? I has still been murdered. This is a murder mystery show.
I mean, I wouldn't agree with that person. Like, obviously, Kana is just a supporting character. She doesn't need to be in the story for the story to happen.
Yeah, like...
And the brand?
The brand name, Wandering Shadow mentions. They have the Bikamachi name, which also helps them succeed, but it gives them more criticism. I call it a wash.
Did you want to say something?
Nathan, I don't understand what you mean when you say that failing now does not further the story. I think that that's the best way to further this story. We have characters who are at their lowest point, one of whom has failed multiple times before, one of whom has never really tasted success. Like, you have to fail. You have to fail at big points for stories to have stakes. Is this a murder mystery? Yes. Believe it or not, it is.
As much as it doesn't want to be.
If they fail now, that doesn't mean they can't get back up and try again. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I want.
That's what we're saying. Like, personally, I don't want Kana to try again, but I don't want Bikamachi to disband. You failed the first time. You are now on the back foot. Everybody sees you as that idol group who tried to take Bikamachi's name and failed. You have to struggle now. And yeah, in my situation, you are down a member. Your center, gone. which is the perfect opportunity to rebrand, I would point out. Anyway, does anybody care about episode 11?
No.
Cool. We're out of time anyway. We are almost out of time anyway. For some
I
reason,
think
I thought we
Tonic
ended
does.
at 1:30.
If by out of time you mean half an hour left. then
Yeah,
yes,
no, for
we're
some reason I
almost
thought we ended this at 1:30. I'm sorry. Okay, then we will talk about episode 11.
Yeah.
Episode 11 is called Idol. Bikamachi begins the performance and their first song goes well. However, Kana begins to lose self-confidence when she observes that the majority of the audience is only there to see Ruby and Memcho. However, she witnesses Aqua among the crowd cheering them on and suddenly finds her motivation. The performance proves to be a huge success. On the way home, Kana finds out that Aqua's relationship with Akane is merely a professional one. To relieve, Kana starts interacting normally with Aqua, while Memcho senses a looming love triangle between them and Akane. Sometime later, Lalai is selected to perform stage adaptation of the popular manga Tokyo Blade, and Kaburagi is asked to provide some outside talent since Lalai has a few young performers. Kana and Akane are both cast as characters in a love triangle with Aqua's character, and Aqua discovers that the two actresses have had an intense rivalry with each other since their childhood actress days. With the casting complete, the crew for the Tokyo Blade play begins in preparation. Ruby heads off to visit Ai's grave, and Aqua swears once again to track down their father.
Epic.
He forgot the part of the show he's supposed to be caring about.
I mean, I'm not sure if we mentioned it, but he does find out from the manager person that when I took some workshops at the La 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 troupe, and that's where she found the love of her life or something.
Yeah.
Well, maybe that's saying a bit much, but her boyfriend, at any rate, I guess.
The ghost kids showing up is weird. What ghost kids? I don't remember.
That sounds... I feel like I should remember that. That sounds
I don't
like something
ghost
that
kids.
happened.
What are you talking about?
That sounds like something that happened and I blocked it from my memory.
Ghost kids. I mean,
I don't remember ghost kids. I do like the director of the Tokyo Blade performance.
what do you like about him?
Yeah.
I like his character design. I like his energy.
Yeah, he seems like he'd be a fun character. It's a shame we're not going to get to see it. Because we don't do... If this show gets a second season, which I'm pretty sure it will, we're not going to discuss it.
You get to see it, Scrub. You can watch the second season.
Oh, is it out?
Well,
No,
not
it's
yet,
not
but
out.
soon.
It's not-
July, I heard.
Oh, July? Okay.
Yeah.
But I'm not stopping
Dang-
you. Like, you're
Dang
allowed
and
to watch
Rampa as
anime
direct.
that we don't do for Anime Club.
No, I don't watch
Incredible
anime. I only watch Dungeon Meshi.
Sin.
Okay.
Sentence to death.
Closing thoughts.
This is a really good show with a very poor ending. Like,
Well-
a very poor, fourth of it.
Yeah.
But, like, the rest of it, even the stuff that, like... Even the show business arc, which I thought was a little boring, I think it's still pretty good.
Yeah.
All things considered.
No,
like, I would...
You would.
Like, I would give this show an 8 out of 10. It's a low 8, but it's still an 8 out of 10 nonetheless.
Wouldn't go that high, but yeah. Like, there are shows that we watch for Anime Club, like Wotakoi, Angel Beats, Panty and Stocking, where I sit and I watch it and I think, I wish I were doing literally anything else. I wish I were rubbing sandpaper over my bare skin. And this was not that. I was perfectly happy to just sit back and watch it. Like, yeah, I started playing Minecraft in the last fourth of it, but whatever. I do not regret having seen this program. I think it has a lot of potential in a lot of different ways. I don't think it lives up to that potential most of the time. But, like someone in chat said, episode 6 is one of the best episodes, period, of anything. So I've got to give it props for that.
Yeah, most of the 8... it would be a 7 out of 10, but that 8 definitely comes from episode 6.
Yeah, it gets bogged down by a lot of its more unique ideas, which is sad. seems to forget what it wants to be doing a lot of the time. But everything it's doing is fun enough. I would give it a 7, I think.
Also give it a 7. I was actually kind of surprised to hear Scrub
Same
giving it
here.
an 8 because I had the impression that I liked the show the most out of the three of us. But yeah, I think it's a perfectly good seasonal show. I was engaged the entire way through. I'm looking forward to season 2. I guess I can understand not liking the murder mystery side of it as long as you're just looking at a one core show. That didn't bother me personally because I did always see it as just core one of a much longer series that God knows if it's even going to get entirely adapted until Civilization ends.
Yeah, no, when that second season happened, I don't think any of my problems with the show are going to be fixed by them adding more episodes, is the thing. Like, my problem isn't that it's not long enough. My problem is just with the general structure of it.
Of course.
Yeah,
manga adaptations and all.
Yeah, I do not see the show possibly going above an 8. I would probably give it a 7.5 if the second, third seasons are really good. Yeah.
Can't for the Ruby and Aqua divorce arc. That's all I'm gonna say.
If this show goes that far, and it... Wow. Can you imagine just living through these characters' lives to the point where Ruby and Aqua have their secret incestuous relationship up to the point where they get tired of each other and have to get fake divorced because they couldn't get legally married?
Right, and
I love the idea of things that go on far too long.
Just like their relationship in the universe or the thing itself, or the manga itself going that far that it'll reach that
Both.
point.
I just love it when a bit goes on too long. When the joke is that it is happening for far too long. Just
right.
Like when there's a scene in a show that is supposed to make the audience uncomfortable, I like the thought of that scene just lasting to the end of the episode. Like when we watched Watamote and Tomoko's mom was just standing in the doorway watching Tomoko listen to her made-up masturbation CD.
Yeah.
Let that go for 10 minutes. Like, I think I told you both this, but I had a great idea for an April Fool's video where I just release episode 436 of Explanation Point's Minecraft Let's Play. And at some point in the video, I'm just like, well, I gotta go get some more iron, and I go into the mine, and I just strip mine for ages. Like 10, 15 minutes of just mining in silence.
I mean, you should have done that.
It's an artistic display.
I probably will next year.
Yeah.
Okay. Did some mining on camera. Incredible. So, let's talk about what anime we're going to recommend for next time. Because I had an idea.
Go ahead.
I think I'm going to propose Wave Listen to Me. But let me make sure
Oh, that's your suggestion? I thought you were going to say a theme or something.
Oh, no.
Did I understand you right? Okay.
That is my suggestion. No, not Ride Your Wave, Mal. Namio Kitakure. That's it. I think 12 episodes. Yes. No theme, nothing like that. If there's a blowout, there's a blowout. That doesn't bother me. I'm going to propose Wave Listen to Me. This is a show from, I think, 2016, 2017. Oh, it was 2020. This is a show from 2020 about a middle-aged restaurant worker who winds up, because of a bad breakup, winds up drunkenly stumbling into the booth of a radio show while the talk show is going on, and making such an impression that that she gets a job in the radio industry. From the first episode I watched, it was hilarious and thoughtful, and I've always wanted to see more, but I never got around to it. So that's my pick.
Do you mean to say that there is a second season?
No.
You must be. Okay.
What do you mean?
Well, I mean, if you said you wanted to see more of it.
Yeah, I only watched one
mean,
episode.
Oh, okay. In that sense.
I only ever watched the first episode, never got back to it.
Can you say
Panic,
again
do you
what's
have
the
an
name of the
option?
show?
What, Tenek?
What's the name of the show?
Wave, listen to me. I'll send it to the Discord.
Okay, thank you.
Boop.
Yeah, that's all. You can go, Scrub.
No, you can go first. I insist.
You insist, that's completely fair. I think I am going to elect. Oh right, I just want to ask to be clear, I guess both for now and for the future. So shows that have second seasons announced which have not yet aired, should we exclude those entirely?
Yes.
Okay. Uh, I'm going to go with Review Starlight.
Oh, good one.
That's a good one. I think that one's probably going to win against my choice.
I hope so.
So,
Well,
we talked about incest enough that I was going to vote for No Game, No Life, but
Alright.
unfortunately, I don't think that one has a self-contained ending.
you're right.
So,
But we're not getting a second season, which is the same reason we allowed Land of the Lustrous.
True. But I think I'm just going to throw Hina Matsuri back up on the poll again.
You got it.
Oh god, I hope that loses so bad. I'm gonna be honest, I found that show completely uninteresting. Or kind of boring.
Interesting. Oh, now I really hope it wins because it's so rare to have something where Tenek is against it and I'm for it.
That is true.
Yeah, that has never happened. I'm not sure we have had a single show so far where I was like, really didn't like it.
Mm-hmm. No. Okay. So we've got our 3 shows. We have Hina Matsuri, Review Starlight, Shoujo Kageki Review Starlight, and Namioki Tekere, Wave Listen to Me. And I will post that poll soon, probably when we're done here, and leave it up for around a week. I'm going to be traveling at the beginning of May for my second wedding reception. So I cannot guarantee that I will post the winner of the poll in a timely manner.
I mean, people can check the poll. They don't tend
They
to
sure
change
can.
after 2 hours.
But just so all 40 people here know, tell your friends that you might not officially know the winner of Anime Club for a bit. All right. I think we had an excellent discussion. How about everyone else?
I really liked it.
Yeah, me too. Folks in
Good
YouTube chat.
show, good.
Huh?
No, this is good.
Yeah, it was good. Folks in YouTube chat, we have about 15 more minutes. If there's anyone who has anything they want to talk about that we didn't cover, give you a second to catch up with that. What, Tenek?
Now's their chance, that's all I said.
Yep.
Nothing substantial.
If anyone has an objection to the video ending, speak now or forever hold your peace.
But no. I had a good time. I had a good time with the show. Will this be archived? Yeah, it'll be up on the channel. No Game, No Life ends its season with a coin flip. I forgot about that. Yeah, I had a good time. I had a good time with the show. I had a good time with the discussion.
Yeah, I forgot to comment. Scrub, when you said like you were considering an incest show, there was part of me that was really hoping you would suggest Arrow Manga Sensei. I thought that would be like very funny to cover on the.
No, I don't.
I do agree. Like,
Listen, okay.
One of my favorite series of anime videos was Digi's, I think he just called it the worst idea ever, where he and a friend of his watched all through Arrow Manga Sensei and recorded their reactions, like, after every episode. They just sat around and talked about it. It was hilarious. So that would be nostalgic, going back to Arrow Manga Sensei.
Listen, okay, I'll suggest Arrow Manga Sensei when I feel like gouging out my eyes, but I don't feel like doing that right now, okay?
Oh, I can do it for you.
Nope.
Man, if we put Arrow Manga Sensei on the poll and it wins, and you two fucking abandon me, that would be the funniest thing either of you ever do in your lives.
Later.
I just show up alone for Anime Club. It's like, so Chad, today I am going to be putting all of my takes about Arrow Manga Sensei on the internet, live, alone.
I would be in the YouTube chat supporting you.
All right, I think that's a good place to end it on. Everyone in YouTube chat, thank you so much for coming. If you want to get in on this yourself, you can go to patreon.com/explanationpoint to find out how. There's a link in the description. And if not, we'll see you guys next month, where we'll be talking about one of the 3 shows that we suggested just moments ago. Hope you all had a good time. I'll see you then. Gooby.
Gooby,
we'll miss you. Bye. No, don't disconnect from Discord. Stop streaming on OBS.